Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and enjoy this fanfic part 2. Now let's start the fanfic. Wow. So this entire time, my 2chan was, Naruto looked over to Jiraiya as he gave him a small smile as he nodded his head, to think, that 2chan was, the Yodaime Hokage. Hey. I made a promise to Minato, that I'd watched over you and Harem. It was his dying wish. I'm glad that 2chan had you around. Yeah, I'm glad he was my student, but now I get the honor of getting to teach his son. Jiraiya stated with a goofy grin on his face. Tsunade smiled watching the two boys. Tsunade herself informed Naruto of what happened between her and Minato. To say the least, he didn't take it well, he didn't get upset or anything. But she could tell it hurt knowing that he was born an accident. No one wants to really learn that they were born by accident. It's not an easy thing to accept nor understand, especially when Naruto is only 7 years old. Naru-chan, I hope this isn't too much for you. I didn't know how else to bring this to you either. Jiraiya wanted to tell you eventually too, just hope you aren't too upset about how you came to be. Tsunade was next to Naruto on the couch as he nodded his head in response to her statement of worry. I'll admit it's a little upsetting to learn that, but I guess there's no real use of complaining or being upset about it. Naruto gave his mother a smile which eased her heart. Besides, I wouldn't be here and have you all as my family. It's good to know who my 2chan was, and I'm glad to know that he loved me too. Yeah. So I guess we should also ask about the giant nine-tailed fox in the room. Shizune chimed in, getting everyone else's attention. How are you feeling on that? Tsunade still didn't forgive Minato for putting that thing in her son. I guess, it's not too bad honestly, I don't feel any different. I guess if he believed that I would be able to handle it. Then I can't let him down if he believed that I could do it. Naruto looked up to Jiraiya and his mother with a serious look on his face. I'm fortunate not to have to grow up as other Jinchurikis had to, so I'll do what I can with all your help. The one good thing, it seems the 9 tails doesn't seem to affect your chakra control. Tsunade placed a hand on her son's hand, curious, I've always wondered why. Jiraiya thought for a moment, placing a hand on his chin. Well, honestly, first off I think it's just he was born lucky. Boys his age would not have almost Chunin, maybe even borderline Jonin level chakra control. His pulls are off the charts, he definitely has the pull right now of at least a Chunin low Jonin right now. Jiraiya then moved his hand, placing them on his hips. I would also like to think thanks to Minato's and Tsunade's genes have to have a factor in it. Honestly, we don't and won't ever truly know, we can only surmise that it is the case. Well, there's one definite thing he inherited from the both of them. Their brains. Naruto is far too smart for most kids his age. Shizune giggled, causing everyone else to giggle and nod their heads in agreement. Well, with that said then, I guess it makes us even then, Ka-chan. Fine, but who was she anyways? Her name was Grafia Yuki, one of the last remaining members of the Yuki clan. Apparently she serves her master Zabuza Momoichi. I remember learning about him from Uero Sennin. Naruto looked to his father figure, seeing interest in his face. I've heard about how Kiri does their initiation for genins in the village. Definitely not the easiest thing. Then with the bloodline purging, even more so. Jiraiya placed his hand on his hips. Zabuza was made a missing nin for trying to assassinate the Yodaime Mizukage, that's all on their side. Honestly, we're not too far from Kiri technically, we're on neutral ground here in this area. Surprising that Zabuza would come all the way out here. Well, she said something about needing to get stronger and learn to heal. Well, you can't heal yet, so what did you do? Tsunade looked curious on what Naruto did with his free time with her. It was clear the two got close, and Suon doesn't like it, Never mind that. Did you tell her your full name? Naruto shook his head. No, no, she just knows me as Naruto, and that you and Nei-chan are my family. She only knows you two in reverse. She actually thought Shizune's henge was my real Ka-chan. Just told her that you were healers and that Ka-chan was actually my Ka-chan. She simply wanted to learn how to heal, so I showed her basic herbs she can use to heal. I see. Good job, Naruto. You're already putting into use what you've learned. What can I say? I learn from the best. The youngest Senju answered with a bright smile on his face. Good. Did you teach her anything else? Tsunade raised an eyebrow as Naruto grew a bit more nervous. TCH, fine, I taught her how to unlock her chakra. She then worked on the leaf chakra control exercise, tree, and then water walk. She never completed the water walking exercise though, we just started that. The others she mastered, the leaf within a few hours, and tree walking in 3 days. Naruto, how old was she again? The mother of Naruto asked with this time less annoyance and more curiosity. Oh, she told me she was 12, she's older than me by 5 years. Wow, I have to admit that's impressive. Tsunade looked to her son, and a proud smile appeared on her face. The fact that a 7-year-old was able to teach someone else how to unlock their chakra. Then guide them through lessons on improving their chakra control. Naru-chan, that's not what most kids your age could do. Hell, not even most adults can do it either. It seems you're a real natural to teaching. Naruto smiled as he could feel his mother happy. Ya think so? That's great. I mean, she was pretty happy too when I taught her too. It was new for me too. I've never really got to feel how someone else felt before. Naruto smiled as he looked down at his feet, kicking them back and forth. It's like how I can tell how Nei-chan and Ero Sennin feel all the time. When Naruto said this caught their attention when Naruto stated that. Naru-chan, what do you mean by, know how we feel? Huh, oh well, I've always been able to tell when you guys are upset, mad, or happy at times. I've began to notice it more and more as of lately, and I can sense other people's emotions too. Though I thought it was weird when I could tell Graphia had no intentions of hurting me. Unlike how I get the intention when you want to hurt Ero Sennin. Naruto replied, not thinking about how he can feel other people's emotions being all that big of a deal. Jiraiya grew interested in this new development. Naruto, are you usually able to tell when I'm within the area, like if I were to hide right now? Could you find me without having to get up and move? Naruto thought for a moment. He focused on Jiraiya and thought for a moment. Now that you mention it, I can sometimes feel someone come near or when or nearby. I guess, but it's hard sometimes. I usually need to think about it. But when they're within like 20 or 30 feet of me, I can tell when someone is nearby. Shizune was a little shocked and then smiled. Wow. Naruto, you might be a sensor. Not no normal sensor either. You might have Mito Oba-chan's negative emotion sensing. But she could only do that when she had the 9 tails. Tsunade was rather shocked to hear this from Naruto. Wait. Great Mito Oba-chan was a Jinchuriki. Yay. But she could sense negative emotions, Naruto, from what you're telling us. If it's right, then you must have an evolved version of hers. You can sense other emotions than just negative. Tsunade looked to her son rather amazed by his abilities already at such a young age. Naruto smirked. Cool. So that means, if I can get strong and fast enough, I'll be able to detect when enemies are close and try to sneak up on me. Naruto raised his fist up rather excited when he learned about his new ability. Yeah, pretty impressive brat. Mannheim and Minato really created a one-of-a-kind kid. Jiraiya added, to which Shizune could only agree. Well, Tsunade looked down at her son, We'll go ahead and be moving again in the next few days or so anyways. During that time, we'll continue your training. You've got a long road ahead of you, Naru-chan. Once you hit 12, we'll be heading back to Konoha. You'll get to see Konoha for the first time. Alright, next step is to become a shinobi of Konoha. Naruto cheered out as he stood up on the sofa, fist pumping the air. Backquote. 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 Time skip 3 years later, Hidden Hot Springs Village, August 2nd *. Naruto's age, 10. Naruto currently found himself in Hidden Hot Springs Village. He's actually been here for his 10th birthday. Just a couple months ago, and here they've been working on Naruto's water affinity more here. As well as working on his superhuman strength, Naruto has finally been working on performing the Mystic Palm Jutsu. Naruto was able to do the jutsu after a day of attempting. It was rather difficult in the beginning, but once he got it going, he was able to heal abrasions, cuts, and gashed about a few centimeters deep. He can't heal bone unlike how his mother and sister can. Even then, that still requires a bit of chakra. That's only healing fractures. Not actual oblique breaks in bones, that usually require more to help the bone. Smash * bam * crash. Naruto reacted to 3 boulders thrown as him. His first reaction was a punch with his right hand, which smashed the boulder to pieces. He then used his left elbow to smash the next incoming boulder. Then he did a roundhouse kick to the last boulder, smashing it to pieces. Tsunade smiled as she clapped her hands of the rock dust. Well done, Naru-chan, your timing and reaction speed to the incoming boulders have gotten better. I must admit you've progressed much farther with this superhuman strength than I have. Which reminds me, Ka-chan, thanks to Arrow Sennin showing me some basic wind ninjutsu, I learned a new jutsu. Tsunade was surprised to hear this from her son. Oh, what did he teach you? Oh, not taught, I created it. You wait, what? You created your own jutsu? Are you sure you really did? Yeah, I sure did. Naruto nodded his head as he ran over towards his mother, excited. I've been practicing this one in secret for a while now. I've been waiting to show it off to Arrow Sennin too. Naruto placed his hand on the ground, using some earth chakra. He pulled up a giant boulder and then pushed down some distance away. Soon the son of Tsunade ran back to his mother and stood next to her. I thought of this idea of when you punch in the Gale Palm Jutsu. Naruto took one of his normal fighting stances, but this time, he had his right arm pulled back close to body while his left hand remained outwards, though he had it bent as it rested in the middle of his body. Naruto began to channel chakra into his right hand that was currently enclosed into a fist. Naruto sent the correct amount of chakra into his fist and then built it up. Naruto also didn't forget to make sure to make a point on his fist where the chakra had almost like a point to it. The chakra began to lightly hum around his fist, and then began to envelope up to his elbow. The said mother was currently astonished seeing her son gathering so much chakra into his fist. He's building up a lot of chakra into his fist. Normally, if he was directly hitting something, he would end up breaking his hand. Yet he's at least 30 feet away from the boulder he is aiming at. He isn't. Just as Tsunade realized what Naruto came up with, he fired his right fist forward in front of him. Chojin no Jutsu. Impact Fist. An. Chojin no Jutsu means superhuman technique. For Naruto and Tsunade, there was no visible way to see the jutsu until smash the boulder seemingly blew up, causing debris to be kicked up and blown away. Once the dust settled, the mother of the inventor of a new jutsu looked onwards. She looked at the boulder to see what seemed like a caved-in hole. She walked over and went to the other side of the boulder to find it blasted open. There was a large crater on the back. Wow. Naru-chan. I can't believe you created such a jutsu. Tsunade began to inspect the damage dealt more to the boulder. Naruto smirked as he walked over to his mother to assist in the assessment of the damage he did. Yeah, I focus and build up the chakra like how Gale Palm works. Then I release it like Gale Palm too. This time I build it up into a single point, which when it hits into the boulder, causes the inside to blow outwards with pressure. Oh, and without wind nature chakra of course. Wait, Naru-chan, are you able to change the way you attack with this? Yeah, I can build it up like a normal punch and launch it. It doesn't have the range, but it has more power to it. I can hit an enemy as if we punch them full force from about 10 or so feet away. The one I just demonstrated, there is a variant of the one we just talked about. This is the first variant I made. What's the original one called? This one was Chojin no Jutsu, Impact Fist, the one I just demonstrated. The original I created is Chojin no Jutsu, Rocket Fist. The son of Tsunade said excitedly as Tsunade looked to Naruto in amazement from her son. The original, can you show me that one too? Naruto nodded his head, yeah I can. Naruto walked over to a tree and began to perform the same stance as before. This time, instead of building up the chakra into a point on his fist, he had his entire fist build up the chakra. Naruto realizing once he was ready then said, Chojin no Jutsu, Rocket Fist. Naruto launched his fist forward, for about a couple seconds nothing happened. Until the tree in front of Naruto broke in half causing it to fall over where a break was apparent on the trunk of the tree. The mother of the youngest Senju member looked onwards in bewilderment. Not only has her son developed his very own jutsu on his own, he even created a variant to give more distance while still doing similar damage. Naru-chan, that's amazing. The fact that you're only 10 years old, yet you created your very own jutsu. That's amazing. You're an absolute genius, Naru-chan. The Senju mother turned to her son, picking him up and twirling him into the air, a genius. Naruto chuckled as his mother practically swooped him up. It was nice seeing her happy and more, Naruto did feel good. It was cool being acknowledged by his hard work and determination to be strong. Now he created his very own jutsu to boot. A main reason why he did so, is because he was inspired by his father. He wanted to create a signature jutsu just like he did. Naruto has yet to learn the Rasengan, but desires to do so once he's ready. Naruto was soon set down and Naruto let a tired sigh out. Yeah, I'm glad I figured them out once I got the hang of it. The range was the hardest part. Releasing chakra from the body was difficult to do so in the beginning. He placed both hands on his hips. Now I'm ready for a break after that and the dodge training too. Besides, we have to celebrate your birthday, Ka-chan. Yeah, we can. Let's go wash up. Shizune should be making dinner right about now. The mother and son began to walk back to their house that sat near a cave. The two walked inside as Shizune peeked her head out from the kitchen. Welcome home, you two. Hopefully training was fruitful. It definitely was. Actually, Naru-chan here create 2 new jutsus. One of them was a variation of the original one he made. The Senju matriarch said with pride, causing Shizune's eyes widen. Wait, for real? Yeah, you should have seen it, Nei-chan. Next chance I get I'll show you too. Yeah, definitely I'll have to see it. Great job. Since we're all here, Naru-chan, you should go get that gift you got for your Ka-chan. Shizune added, as to which Naruto nodded his head excitedly. Every year, since Naruto was 5 years old, Naruto has not once failed to get his mother a present. Usually they were small things, but this time, with some money Naruto made by helping nearby people with small injuries, he's been able to make some pocket money in exchange for his services. The people in the village were quite impressed with his skills in medicine. that they took his services seriously along with his mothers and sisters. Naruto ran upstairs into his room as Tsunade waited for her son to come back down. Eventually he did so. He held up a put in his hands as a flower sat there in full bloom. Tsunade was surprised. She thought that the people at the garden shop must have a greenhouse. With those, flowers and plants alike bloom all year round. I got you an awesome flower, Ka-chan. It's the one that represents August for your birthday. It's a gladiolus flower, also known as a sword lily. They are cormous perennials boasting spectacular spikes of funnel-shaped flowers in a surprisingly wide range of colors. Shizune poked her head around the corner again. Wait, Naruto, didn't the lady say that they sold out of their grown gladiolus flowers? Naruto looked to his elder sister figure with a nod. Yeah, she did, but instead she let me buy the flowers for them. Tsunade raised an eyebrow. Naru-chan, flowers, especially these, what, take almost 90 days to mature. When did you plant them? Naruto smirked as he said, I grew them last night. He gave her a thumbs up as Tsunade looked at her son upset. Naru-chan, I've taught you better than that, you shouldn't lie. Naruto looked rather upset by his mother's comment, but I did, I'm serious, I was able to grow them using my chakra. Tsunade and Shizune looked at one another confused. Naru-chan, did you just say you grew them yourself? With chakra. Shizune was done with dinner and turned the stove off. She came walking over, drying her hands off from washing them. Well, yeah, I figured that I could try growing them with chakra. Why? Is something wrong with doing that? The young Senju looked confused at his family, wondering if he did something he shouldn't have. Tsunade-sensei, you don't think? No, it can't be. Only Hashirama Jiji had it in our family, besides he could only manipulate and use wood. Naruto knew who they were talking about, and he was confused. Wait, why are you talking about great Hashirama Jiji-chan? I just used my chakra to grow a flower, not a tree. Yeah, I guess they're similar in some respects, but I couldn't possibly have the Mokuden. Right, you're not wrong, he couldn't grow flowers. Well, except for that one jutsu with a giant flower, even still it couldn't be. Naru-chan, do you have any more of those seeds for the gladiolus flowers? The Senju matriarch asked as Naruto nodded his head. Okay, go get them, I'm going to find an eggcorn. The Senju family all went outside as Tsunade held an eggcorn in her hand. Naru-chan, place those seeds into the ground. Channel your chakra into the seeds to make them grow. Naruto did as his mother asked. He planted the seeds, covered them, and then began to channel chakra into them. Tauntaun began to squeal and oink as out from the ground. The stem of the flower began to grow out. The leaves grew out, and the petals bloomed, proving that Naruto did indeed grow them overnight. Okay, now do it to this. Tsunade tossed Naruto the eggcorn. It can't possibly be true. Why in Naru-chan? Of all of Hashirama Jiji's kids and even Nawaki and I, none of us ever awakened the Mokuden. How could it appear now, and of all people why Naru-chan? The Senju matriarch asked herself as she watched her son plant the eggcorn. Eventually Naruto covered the eggcorn and placed his hand on top of it. Naruto then sent his chakra into the seed. For a moment nothing happened. Naruto was focusing on the seed as he was trying to get the seed to germinate. After a few seconds, then those seconds turned into a minute. Tsunade said, okay, maybe it's Someth. The ground began to rumble, which caused Tsunade and Shizune to take a step back. Naruto had his eyes closed and focusing. It was hard for him to determine how to get this seed to work. Unlike the flower, it was easy to get it to germinate. However, for this seed, not only did it require more chakra, he found it hard for his chakra to penetrate the shell of the eggcorn. But eventually, after bombarding it with his chakra, he was able to crack the shell, and poured his chakra into it. When Naruto did that, the acorn that had just planted began to grow. Everyone watched as the tree grew from a tiny baby tree to eventually grow into a young adult oak tree that towered over Tsunade, Shizune, Naruto, and Taunton. Naruto was even shocked as he stood up, slowly walked backwards, and then fell onto his butt. Tsunade looked to Naruto as so did Shizune. Shizune, he did it, he. Tsunade didn't finish as Shizune finished her sentence for her, has the Mokuden. When Naruto finished pushing his chakra more into the seed, he smirked and turned to Tsunade with a bright smile on his face. Tsunade's and Shizune's eyes widened when they saw the whisker marks on Naruto's face begin to fade, until nothing was left of the Kyuubi's influence. Backquote. 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 Few hours later, Naruto was currently outside playing with Taunton and Gamakichi outside. Meanwhile the adults were talking in the house. So, the kid really has it, huh? Jiraiya moved a curtain to look out the window. He looked at the newly formed oak tree that Naruto made where Taunton, Gamakichi, and Naruto were playing under. Yeah, it doesn't make me feel better, but his whisker marks are gone. It's probably the Mokuden, it's most likely suppressing the Kyuubi's influence. When did he say he could do this? The Toad Sage looked back to the Slug Princess. He said he did it last night, but maybe it was such a small scale. It didn't affect him right away, until he created that tree. Tsunade finished placing a hand on her chin. What course of action do you think we should take? Shizune looked to Jiraiya for some sort of guidance on this issue. This could spell a whole lot more problems for Naruto, not only is he the son of Tsunade and Minato. Kami help them whenever that gets out, now that he has the Mokuden. It'll paint only a bigger target on his back. For now, let's keep it between us, and have Naruto keep it hidden too. Not to let anyone learn he has it. I can go into the Senju library for you, Tsunade. We can get some of the basic wood jutsu scrolls that Hashirama kept. Jiraiya suggested, remembering that Tsunade told him that Hashirama kept some of the less powerful wood jutsus in their house. Not a bad idea, but yeah, I agree, we should keep that hidden. If Naruto can keep his last name hidden and burden the fact he is a Jinchuriki, he can handle that. Tsunade smiled, looking out the window towards her son. Oh, we forgot to mention Naruto came up with his own jutsu, and even made an improved variation of it. The brat did what? Jiraiya's head made an almost 180-degree turn, looking back to Shizune. Backquote. 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 Time skip couple weeks later. Naruto found himself walking around the village hidden in the hot spring. This was a place where it was neutral territory, there was no fighting allowed in this village. This meant, shinobi who recognized one another as enemies could not and were not allowed to start anything here, policy is strict here. People are good at remembering faces, so if they did start something, service here for that shinobi would be permanently banned. Truly no one wanted to be banned, this place was too damn good to be lost to someone. So, that meant everyone behaved. Naruto was relatively safe in this area, and no one really recognized him anyways. Luckily shinobi passed by him and basically ignored him and paid no mind. Naruto though did come across an interesting group of shinobi he's never encountered before. Yo my new genins. I'll be seeing you all later. Hidden the new Sonings. A girl with straight, blonde, hair bound with taut bandages, dark eyes looked to the odd man. B-sensei, Sonings isn't even a word. It's Sana, if you're going to rap at least make the lyrics rhyme. She had a short-sleeved black and purple blouse and black pants, both of which had a design similar to clouds on them, purple fingerless gloves and a chain of blue beads wound around her left hand. She also wore the standard Kumogakure forehead protector, sandals and a kunai holster, which was strapped to her right thigh. The girl also wore bandages around her arms and legs as well as a red belt around her waist. The said B-sensei was a dark skin and a muscular build, as well as blonde hair and a goatee. On his right shoulder, he has a tattoo of the kanji for iron, G, Tetsu. Come on little miss 2, let's all relax and have some fun. Otherwise, I'll be looking out for only number 1. A young, dark-skinned Kumo nin with short, spiky, white hair and dark eyes accentuated with eyelashes curving upwards from the corners. He wears a dark outfit consisting of an overlong shirt with a hood, with red bandage hand guards, Kumogakure shin guards, and a black forehead protector along with a Kumogakure flak jacket. He just looked to his sensei and sighed, I'll keep an eye on him, Yugito, Karui, Samui, don't worry. Better, B-sensei always seems to find himself in some sort of trouble. Good luck Omoi. The dark-skinned kunoichi with long spiky red hair and amber eyes. She wears a long, short-sleeved dress with frilly edges complete with the Kumogakure flak jacket, 2 simple yellow earrings, fishnet stockings, thigh-high boots with white soles and a forehead protector which she wears like a bandana. She also carries a long sword on her back. Ya got it Karui, see ya 3 later. The now named Omoi began to walk off with B following him as he continued to rap. Anyways Samui, Karui, think we should go freshen up and take a look at the spa. I think it'll be nice. Yugito noted as she placed a hand on her hip. Agreed. Yugito began to walk off as Naruto saw the girl who was now named Samui and could deduce who Yugito was now. Samui was fair-skinned woman with a curvaceous figure who generally wears a stoic, aloof expression on her face. She has blue eyes and straight, shoulder-length blonde hair cut in an asymmetrical bob style. She wears a very low-cut outfit which displays her sizable cleavage, with mesh armor underneath, a short skirt and red hand guards, high boots, and what appears to be a modified Kumogakure flak jacket that covers her stomach only, similar to a girdle. She also carries a tanto strapped horizontally to her lower back. They all seem to be about Graphia's age, maybe the Samui girl was a bit older by a year or 2 than Yugito and Karui. Yugito and Karui seemed to be about 14 while Samui had to be 16. Just then Samui and Yugito caught Naruto off their peripheral as Karui began to walk off not noticing the young blonde. Yugito smirked as she looked to Samui, don't look now Samui, but I think that kid over there is staring at you. Samui noted the young boy and gestured to him to come closer. Naruto nervously walked up to the Kumo genins. Karui now turned back to her 2 friends to find the young blonde boy looking nervously at them. Nice to meet you, I'm Naruto. Samui smiled, hello there kid, name is Samui. Were you interested in us? You are shinobi, no? Naruto asked curiously. We're Kumo Kunoichi. These are my teammates. Yugito and Karui, right? I heard the funny tall man earlier doing weird rhymes with his mouth. Naruto quickly added, to which this caught Yugito's and Samui's attention. The two, without Naruto realizing, Naruto deduced who they were before even negotiating with them. Of course, it could have been just luck too. That or he looked older than he appeared. Naruto, how old are you? Where are your parents? Yugito looked to Naruto wondering where his parents were. Oh, my 2-chan died a long time ago. Ka-chan is here around here somewhere, but she's busy working. She and my Ne-chan are traveling healers who used to be from a village. Where from? Samui asked intrigued. Now Naruto realized they were prying. So, he had to answer their question best he can. Without showing them, he was lying, at least partially. We're from the village hidden in the hot water. Naruto smiled looking at the two kunoichi who seemed to relax a bit. Karui on the other hand thought Naruto was adorable. So, if you don't mind me asking, what were you so interested in about us? Yugito asked, wondering what Naruto wanted. I was really just looking. Honest, I've never seen shinobi before. Ka-chan and Ne-chan and I travel a lot, so I don't make many friends. Naruto said, a little downcast, which Yugito, Samui, and Karui noted in Naruto's demeanor. Well, we're heading on over to the hot spring spas here to relax. Our Jonin Sensei B is his name, is going in too. We're relaxing here for a vacation after our first ever B rank mission together. That's really cool. Naruto's eyes widened with stars as Yugito explained why they were here. Can I learn what the mission was about? Yugito giggled as she shook her head. No, sorry Naruto, but missions like this are always classified, we can't reveal that to you. Especially if you're not part of our village either. Samui was interested in the kid. If your Ka-san and Ne-san are healers, they must have shinobi training. Do you? Naruto, not wanting to s untruthful, nodded his head. Yeah, I do, I've had some training thanks to them. You able to heal? The light-skinned buxom woman asked, placing her hands under her chest. Naruto also noted, for some reason, he seemed to meet a lot of women with big chests. Well, besides Karui, Yugito was bigger than she was. Naruto nodded his head. I can only heal small cuts and abrasions to the skin, besides that. It's all Ka-chan and Ne-chan from then on out. Oh, I know. Think you guys could teach me some things? Naruto again got excited as he seemingly jumped up and down in excitement, wanting some extra training in. Samui, Yugito, and Karui looked to one another, at Naruto, and then back to one another again. Technically they were here to relax and take it easy, but there was nothing said about training. Let us talk to B-sensei about it, if we do decide to do a bit of training. I don't think you joining in will be a bother. You too sure about this? We just met the kid. He isn't even from a village. Karui looked to Naruto, a little unsure about him. I mean, so far he's been truthful. Samui added, I have noticed anything in his chakra to show that he was lying. Karui sighed and decided to trust Samui's judgment. She had the better chakra control than anyone here. Even though she isn't a censor, she could at least pick up those who lie better than they could. Meet us over by the relaxing river just down over by the forest. You'll find us, there'll be a clearing. Trust me, you'll see us. Yugito smiled as her, Samui, and Karui began to walk off, deciding to see what this kid was made of. Backquote. 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 Next day asterisk. Naruto again had today off since his mother and sister were taking care of the hospital in town. There was a small outbreak of an infectious bacteria within the hospital. So, that meant no one was allowed in nor out of the hospital. Naruto was worried for the two, but he also was sure the two could figure it out. Naruto was informed of this by Lady Katsuyu after Tsunade sent the summon to deliver the message to Naruto. Jiraiya was currently out working on his spy network. Most of the time, he's doing that well, researching, which is what he always says. Naruto made his way over towards the spot where they told him to meet them. Naruto entered through the brush into the river. Like they said, Naruto saw the group waiting for him. Hey Naruto, glad you made it. Yugito called over, to which Karui and Samui looked to Yugito. It was a little surprising to see Yugito. What was it? So happy to see someone she just met. Yeah, glad you invited me here. So, what are we going work on today? Naruto asked excitedly, to which B smirked, walking up to Naruto. Well, little blonde, I hope you're ready for today. You're going to get turned on, yeah. B held his right hand in the air, making a strange hand sign. What? Omoi just sighed and translated. He means, I hope you're ready for today. Today is going to be a lot of fun. Then why didn't you just say so? The young Senju member looked at the teacher confused. Because, when I speak in rhyme, I try to float and sting like the great killer bee. You're weird. Naruto replied as bee fell to the floor causing him to face fault. Ya fool, ya fool. I ain't weird, you're right out trippin'. You can stop the rap, because rap is the game I spat. You can't get these rhymes when all you do is act like a chicken. Can we just move on now? I'm more confused than ever. Naruto ignored their sensei, turning to the ones who seem like they're more mature and know what they're doing. Ya fool, ya fool. I trained them, I'm their teacher. I'm beyond their equals. Eventually they'll make Chunin before you even a newbie. This is getting tiring. Naruto put a hand to his fast as the others in B's squad began to nod their heads in agreement. This only caused the Eight-Tails Jinchuriki to fall to the ground with a rain cloud over his head. He's trying to say that he's our teacher and deserves more respect. That we'll be Chunin before you're even a genin. Omoi translated, to which Naruto nodded his head with thanks. Don't think we all officially met. Name is Naruto. Pleasure to meet you all. Naruto extended his hand out to Omoi. Omoi smiled. Nice to meet you too, Naruto. Seem like an alright guy. Omoi shook his hand. B smirked as he stuck his fist out. Well, little Naruto will soon be Strongaruto. When he hands with the great killer bee, his enemies will really begin to feel his sting. Did he just rhyme with my name by altering how you stronger? He does that, you'll get used to it. Yugito answered, to which she simply shrugged her shoulders at. Little Miss Yugito, Samui, and Karui too. Told me you wanted to try to hang with Kumo. Think you hang high with Kumo's greatest all of time? Yeah. B raised his hand in the air again with a rock-like hand sign. Naruto was a little unsure of how to react, so he did his best. Yo, Killer B, I'm here to give it a go. Got the heart of a lion, and I'm ready to show. Training every day, got the fire in my soul. Wanna hang with the best, Kumo's top role. Yugito, Samui, Karui, and Omoi were shocked when Naruto rapped back to Killer B. Not only that, he was actually good at it. Better than their sensei. Killer B grinned wide, clearly impressed by Naruto's effort and spirit. He raised both hands in the air, striking his signature pose, and started to rap back with enthusiasm. Yo, Naruto, you got the flow, that's right. You brought the heat, and you brought it tight. With that kind of spirit, you got my respect. Now it's time to train, and we're gonna connect. We'll hit the ground runnin', workin' day and night. Trainin' hard, gettin' stronger, keepin' it tight. You're ready for the challenge, I can see it clear. Kumo's got your back, no need to fear. Together we'll rise, like the sun in the sky. With the power of the ninja, we're gonna fly high. Yo, Naruto, you passed the test with flair. Time to train with Killer B, we'll be the ultimate pair, yeah. Killer B finished his rap with a big smile and a fist bump aimed at Naruto, signaling the start of their training partnership. It seems he'll fit right in. Samui said with a smile. Cool. Not bad, not easy to impress sensei. Karui had to admit that Naruto was actually pretty cool. Please don't make rapping a habit, but you were better than B-sensei. Yugito snickered, looking over to her sensei. Maybe you should take over B-sensei's rapping career. Omoi, chewing on a piece of gum, chimed in with a smirk. Yeah, B-sensei, you might wanna watch out. Naruto's got some serious rap game. Could be the end of your reign. Killer B raised an eyebrow, pretending to be hurt. Oh, y'all think you're so slick, talkin' smack like that. But you know I'm the one who's got the rhymes in the rap. Naruto's got potential, no doubt he's got the flow. But the Eight Tails Jinchuriki is still the star of the show. He crossed his arms and turned his back dramatically, only to turn around with a huge grin and a playful wink. But I'm glad y'all think he's got what it takes. Together we'll train, and we'll raise the stakes. With the crew like this, we'll go far and wide. Rappin' and trainin', bringin' ninja pride. Everyone laughed at B's antics, including Naruto, who was thrilled to be part of the group. The camaraderie was clear, and with B's guidance, Naruto knew he was in for some intense and fun training. Over the course of the next hour, everyone worked to see where Naruto stood in terms of chakra control. We're impressed to find out that he had mastered majority of everything, including water walking. So, that was immediately crossed off their to-do list. If anything, Naruto lacked was actual ninjutsu to learn. The group quickly learned that Naruto was a hand-to-hand fighter similar. Of course, when everyone trained with Naruto, it was clear they were intrigued by his skill. It made them even think to maybe bring Naruto back to Kumo along with his family. They would be most welcomed there as members of the shinobi force there. I could very much instate Naruto as a genin in Kumo since he showed a lot of promise. Especially for someone so young. Well, color me impressed, your family must have trained you well. Yugito answered, looking to Naruto, seeing that he was really more than meets the eye. Well, Ka-chan and Nei-chan did have some formal training. They're medics after all, they had to learn to defend themselves. Then they made sure I could as well in case I ever found myself in a bind. Are they the ones currently helping out at the hospital in the village? I heard about the outbreak there. Omoi looked to Naruto concerned. You worried about them? I heard they locked the place down to quarantine the place. Naruto nodded his head, not worried about them. Ka-chan and Nei-chan are great medics. Ka-chan taught Nei-chan all she knows now. When they work together they're amazing. Seem you really look up to your Ka-chan. Yugito smiled to Naruto. Anyways, why don't we see what his chakra affinities are, B-sensei? It couldn't hurt, he already knows how to mold chakra pretty well for someone his age. We should also ask if he knows any affinities. Samui turned to Naruto, waiting for his response. Oh, I have water and lightning release, at least those were the two I learned about. Wow, 2. That's rare. Most start off with just 1. Karui was impressed as she placed her hand on her hip. Have you ever used chakra paper? Omoi asked, and to try to cover himself Naruto shook his head, no. Yo Naruto, let's see what surprises you bring. Could be a great shinobi, with that ninja bling. Show us what you're made of, let's unveil the prize. With the fire in your spirit, you'll reach for the skies. B rapped as he handed Naruto the piece of chakra paper. Naruto took it, and this time making sure he didn't pour too much chakra into it. As on K, the chakra paper split into 4th. With one corner turning wet, another turning into dirt, one crinkling, and the last 4th being shredded to pieces. Samui's eyes widened. No way, he has 4 affinities. Karui's jaw dropped. That's insane. That's so rare to have 2, but 4. Crazy. Yugito blinked in surprise, a rare smile appearing on her face. Looks like we've got 1 in a million on our hands. Omoi chewed his gum a bit faster. Man, this kid is something else. Just who are his parents? Killer B, always quick on the draw, broke into a rap. Water, lightning, earth, and wind, that's what he's got. 4 affinities, man, this kid is hot. With elements like these, he's one of a kind. Naruto's got the power, and the strength of mind. Yo, we'll train you up, show you the ninja way. With skills like yours, you'll lead the fray. So, let's get started, no time to rest. With Killer B as your teacher, you'll be the best. Cool. The cool Kunoichi muttered again as everyone nodded their heads agreeing. Naruto, would you at all be interested in joining us in Kumo? Your family would be most welcome. I think Raikage-sama would be most pleased to have you join our ranks. Yugito looked to Naruto wondering if he would really be interested in joining. You have a rare talent and abilities that most shinobi would die to have. You'd make a powerful shinobi. Omoi added as he smiled looking to Naruto. However, his bad habit of thinking that something bad will come out of this. His expression shifted, and his typical worries took over. But what if having 4 affinities means you'll be targeted by every enemy ninja out there? What if they come after you because they see you as a threat? And then, what if one day you're on a mission and you run out of chakra because you've been using all 4 elements and then you're surrounded and, what if they capture you and try to extract your powers or turn you into a weapon? Omoi continued to ramble, pacing back and forth, or what if, during training, you accidentally mix up the elements and cause a huge explosion? Or worse, what if you accidentally flood the training ground or cause a landslide? Or what if the wind chakra creates a tornado and we all get swept away? The others watched Omoi with a mix of amusement and exasperation, while Naruto scratched his head, unsure how to respond to the cascade of worries. Ignore him, that's just who he is, a worrywart. Yugito tried to reassure Naruto that they were normal. Well, as normal as you can try to explain. Naruto was a little unsure of how to react with them asking him to join. Everyone could clearly see Naruto was unsure of that. Maybe we brought this on him too soon. Samui mentally flinched, she could see the unsure look on his face. We can't force him, besides we can't just take a kid. We promised to give him some training, not persuade him to join our village. But Samui, we can't just. Karui was interrupted before she could finish. Karui, Samui is right, we agreed to give him some training. Just asking out of the blue like that is too much. Yugito immediately agreed with Samui on this one, besides, we can't force things onto other people. We all know that too well. Everyone knew what Yugito was talking about, it was the fact she and B were Jinchurikis. Kumo has changed a lot since the failed kidnapping of the Hyuga princess. Just say things did not end well on either side. Thank you, I know you all barely know me and more. But why did you all agree to teach me a few things? Naruto asked, sincerely wondering why they would agree to this. They didn't even know Naruto for a full 48 hours, for Omoi and B less than 24 hours. Yet they still decided to give him a hand. Yugito smiled while looking at Naruto. It seemed like you really wanted to learn something from us, even if you're not part of the village. I guess, call it naive or stupid, but I thought you were truly interested. You seemed like you could hold yourself. I guess, I know what it's like to want to get stronger. Then be denied that possibility because of what other thought about you. That was before you knew who they were, and they judged you because they knew who you were. Meaning squirt, thank Yugito over here who convinced us. She can't help passing someone up who wanted to get stronger. Just who she is. Karui smirked, nodding her head towards Yugito's direction. And she couldn't stop talking about you and was interested in you. Samui quickly added, causing Yugito to blush and look at the cool Kunoichi, annoyed by her wording. No, that's not it at all, Samui. Yugito placed a hand on her face, trying to force her blush down. I just saw you wanted to get stronger, and I know what it's like to be denied the chance. I saw a lot of me in you, I couldn't refuse your desire to get stronger. Says the one who couldn't stop thinking about him all last night. Shut it, Nibby. Anyways, I hope you understand why. These guys are here mainly to see what type of kid you are. B-sensei was willing to pitch in as well, the others were here to watch and give some pointers. Well then, let's not stand here and keep yapping. Let's get some training done. Omoi chanted, to which Naruto agreed with and hoped to learn some cool things from everyone here. I appreciate it, guys, I really do. I won't let you all down. Backquote. 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 Time skip 2 weeks later. After 2 weeks of training with the Kumo shinobi, and them now becoming close friends with Naruto. They all enjoyed hanging out with Naruto. He was a really cool kid and a lot of fun. He was quite the energetic kid and was a quick learner too. His impulsiveness sometimes caused the lighting jutsus he was taught, blew up in his face. Okay. Scratch that, each jutsu, that was lightning that was taught to him, blew up in his face. It was a funny kick that everyone got out of it. But for Naruto, it helped him make memories, and specially make friends. They weren't bad at all. For being rival shinobi from the Leaf, they were just like him. Happy, fun, hard-working shinobi who lived and served their village. For Naruto this indeed meant a lot. He got to learn some new ninjutsu. Mainly lightning ones, and they all got to learn from Naruto a bit too in terms of healing. Since none of them really knew any healing jutsu, only Tsunade knew how to heal minor wounds. Naruto taught her what plants to look for to help her teammates when out in the wild. Like most healers, knew how to perform the mystic palm jutsu to heal. Naruto helped Tsunade better her control and understanding of the jutsu. Tsunade went from healing scrapes and light abrasions on the skin to deeper cuts and wounds on the body within a few days. The learning was mutual between Naruto and the Kumo shinobis. However, more was traded between Naruto's and Yugito's sparring. Yugito most of the time beat Naruto and she had the upper hand over him in experience. However, Naruto always gave her a run for her money in terms of strength and unpredictability. Many of them quickly learned that Naruto was a censor, and he didn't even have to show it. That was because Naruto could react quickly when Yugito molded chakra. It was easy for Naruto most of the time to avoid most attacks coming his way. It made hiding useless for Yugito, so she had to attack him head-on. Of course, this made a definite impact on the two's relationship. While many saw it cute, for Naruto and Yugito was straight rivalry. Okay, maybe there was some romantical tension between the two. Yugito was horrible at hiding it, while Naruto was more perceptive. However, sadly for Yugito, the boy was as dense as they come. Okay, maybe not that dense, but dense, nonetheless. The two would spend more time than Naruto did with the others. That was only because, for Yugito's excuse was, I promised to give him some training and pointers. So, it's my responsibility. Right now, as this moment Naruto stood over Yugito with his fist up to her face. He smirked. Seems like this is my win this time, Yugito. Yugito couldn't believe it. This was her 15th loss to Naruto. She won all 14 other spars, but ever since she hit her 14th win. Something in Naruto changed. He learned so fast under just 2 weeks. By the 14th win, which was less than a week ago, he began to win their spars. Since then, he hasn't lost a single one since the determination in his eyes grew more intense. Plus, he was able to read and understand her movements even quicker than before. That's match. Naruto wins. Omoi stated as B. Tsunade and Karui came walking out from the forest. Again, Yugito. You know, you were literally the strongest kunoichi in our class. What the hell? Even Omoi wasn't able to beat you. Karui was shocked with a raised eyebrow. Oi, I'm right here, Omoi said, annoyed, as an arrow with the word, loser, shot into his back. Yeah, Omoi was the strongest male in our class. Even then, that was a stretch, as myself and Karui came next in strength. Tsunade added her 2 cents, as 2 more arrows with the words, male, and, third strongest, shot into his back. I'm still right here, Omoi complained as his comments fell on deaf ears. Killer B, seeing the scene, started to rap with enthusiasm. Yo, yo, this is whack too. Our new little Naruto's shining through. Didn't expect my genin to get schooled like that, but it's true. Naruto's skills are growing, he's learning real fast. He's outpaced you all, now he's top of the class. Yugito, Samui, Karui too, even Omoi got a clue. Our boy's got the moves, he's got the ninja groove. With hard work and spirit, he's reaching new heights. Training with Killer Bee, he's winning these fights. Everyone laughed, even Omoi, despite the teasing. The camaraderie was clear, and Naruto felt more determined than ever to keep improving with the help of his new friends and mentors. Once the spar was over, everyone decided to get some dinner. Instead of everyone going together, it was decided to split up. Everyone had different idea of what they wanted for dinner. Since no one could come to an agreement on what to eat, it was decided they would split up in their own small groups to eat dinner. With that, it caused the two-tailed Jinchuriki and Naruto to be the ones left. Well, since no one else had the taste for ramen, guess it's just us. Yugito turned to Naruto, letting a small chuckle escape his lips. Yeah, I can understand not everyone enjoying the greatness of ramen. Come on, let's go, I'm starving from the spar from earlier. Naruto began to trot off as Yugito began to follow him, but not before catching up to his pace. Though something did note that irked Yugito's curiosity. When they sparred earlier, Yugito swore she nicked him on the cheek with her claws. You did, kitten, but he is a healer. So, he probably already healed it. I already told you, and talked to Gyuki on this, don't sense anything different about the kid. Thanks, Nibi, B-sensei and I were curious too on the kid. It seemed like he heals too quick. But then again, it's not all impossible to assume that he is that great of a healer. Yeah, just remember how much he taught Samui about healing too. He helped improve her healing skills. It's a rare find for someone not part of a shinobi village. Agreed. So, what? You like him? What? No. Yugito screamed in her head. In the seal she looked up and glared at the two-tail Hellcat. Oh, so then why is it when I mentioned Naruto helping Samui to heal better? You got annoyed, I felt your blood pressure rise a bit. As well as that twang of hurt from your heart. That doesn't mean anything. He's a strong kid, in all seriousness between our spars. He's the only one guy outside of Kumo who actually gave me a real challenge besides B-sensei. In other words, you groomed him not only to get stronger, so that then one day you could snatch him up as your boyfriend. Nibi. No. I said I don't like him like that. He's just a rival. MMHM. Keep telling yourself, cougar. Oi. I said I'm not. Oh, so you totally didn't persuade B-sensei to not only help train him, but you trained him as well to help him get stronger. That way he was more of a challenge to you, totally not what you were going for. Nor was he a cute kid when you first met him. I mean, you're only a few years older than him. By what? 4 or 5 years, trust me, age in this world don't matter. Yes they do. Besides, he's a rival, not a love interest. Oh okay then, so does that mean Samui could take him as a boyfriend and you wouldn't mind? I mean, I saw how she reacted to him when he taught her to heal better. Her pulling his face into her buxom bust, which mind you, is bigger than yours. Doesn't mean anything. You're really testing my patience, Nibi. Yugito growled out at a low mumble. What was that, Yugito? Yugito noticed she was mumbling as Naruto looked up to her confused. Oh, sorry. Ignore me, just have a million thoughts running through my head. Just thinking back on how much you progressed in such a short amount of time. You should be proud of yourself. I am. It's all thanks to you that I even got the chance to get some training in. Learning some lightning jutsus was super fun too. Though, Was it really okay for you guys to teach me? I'm not even from your village. Yugito shook her head. No, no, it was my idea, and besides B-sensei approved of it. It'd go against my morals if I didn't. You wanted to get stronger. I simply chose to believe you wanted to get stronger for the right reasons. But if you're ever in Kumo, maybe stop by the Raikage's office. I might be around and could say hi, maybe even join. I don't know, Ka-chan is pretty strict with me. Hell, she doesn't even know I'm here doing this. She won't get mad. She won't find out. Oh, so you're lying to her. But I'm not saying anything. Which is lying. Well, if you're gonna put it that way, but it's just technicalities. Come on, Yugito. I don't think, okay, Ka-chan would definitely chew my ear off. Yugito smiled hearing about Naruto's family, he definitely held them in high regard. As the two continued walking, Yugito had this question in her head. She just had to ask, so Naruto, what's it like? Like what? Having a mother. Naruto was immediately able to key in on what Yugito meant. It wasn't hard to figure out that Yugito was a Jinchuriki-like killer bee in him. Of course, he didn't say that, but Bee and Yugito broke that news to him pretty early. Of course, Naruto said he knew what they were. It was easy because he said that his father died fighting one. Which wasn't entirely wrong either, he did die fighting a tailed beast. Just not specifically a Jinchuriki. It's nice, she's so caring and loving, she can be a bit much sometimes. But, I wouldn't change it for the world. I see, well, I'm glad she's there for you and your Nei-chan. What about your family? I can sense it's not a happy subject for you. They passed when I was little. Never knew my Ka-chan, died the day I was born. My Tu-chan died when I was young, it wasn't easy to learn I was a Jinchuriki and many didn't care for me. I heard how they're treated, honestly I don't blame for how some people turn out in the world. Ka-chan said that the world isn't forgiving and can be cruel. Some people handle it differently. Ya know, you're pretty smart and perceptive for a kid your age. I'm only 10, you're not that much older than I am. True. Just you learn things quicker in life, surprised your mother didn't protect you from it more. She wanted to be honest with me on things in life. Mainly because I don't have a Tu-chan around. So, she believes telling things to me straight and how it is was easier. I won't lie, some things wasn't easy to swallow, but she did a good job. Oh, so a woman was able to tell you how to be a man. Well, honestly sort of, but she wasn't the best at it. She was vague sometimes and it got confusing, it took her a while to not beat around the bush. My funny uncle taught me what I needed to know a bit easier. Men. Women. The two just looked at one another for a moment until the two broke out into laughter. Yugito wiped a tear from laughter as she and Naruto made their way towards the ramen stand. You know, Yugito, you're pretty fun to be around. Yugito, not knowing where this came from, had a blush appear on her face. The 15-year-old girl didn't know how to react nor feel. But her brain did, it caused her heart to skip a beat, and her body to feel warm on the inside. Where did that come from? Idiot. Naruto looked at her confused. What? I was giving you a compliment. Geez, you're just like Ka-chan. Can't take compliment and you get all flustered. Geez. Sorry. It's fine. I've lived with two girls my entire life. My uncle only dropped by once in a while when he wasn't working. I know how they can be, even if their actions will confuse me. Are you saying women are difficult to understand? For other women, no, for men yes. Especially because I'm still a kid who's 10 years old. Huh, sometimes I forget you're 10, you act more like you're around me age. Oh, makes sense, Ka-chan did always say I acted more mature for my age. Just then the bartender at the ramen stand came up. Hiya. Name's Derek. What can I get for you two love birds today? W what? No. W we aren't dating. J just good friends. Yugito stammered out with a blush on her face. Meanwhile the Nibby on the inside was giggling like a mad man, no mad cat. Oh, I see, kid you're a little on the tall side huh? I guess I am. Ka-chan said I was taller than most 10-year-olds. You're 10. The now named Derek looked to Naruto like he was lying, but could find no lie. Yeah, I know right, he's only an inch or two shorter than I am. I'm 5 feet 4 and I'm only 15, he's as pretty tall. Yugito agreed, gesturing her thumb towards Naruto. Just then Naruto and Derek made eye contact, and with no words exchanged. Derek nodded his head towards Yugito. Naruto nodded his head well while shrugging his shoulder, but still with a smile on his face. Okay. Naruto wasn't as dense as some people thought. The Nibby noted this, but Yugito was just as dense. Naruto knew when to appreciate pretty girls, that's mainly due to Jiraiya's influence. But he's way better at hiding it. Naruto knew Graphia would be gorgeous when she grew up. That same goes for Samui, who's already pretty, and Yugito too. Karui on the other hand, he felt like she'd look the same as she got older. If his mother believed in anything, being a mother usually changes a lot of women. Normally for the better, at least most of the time. Well, what can I get you two? I'll take a salmon miso ramen. Take a pork miso ramen. Comin' right up. So, Naruto, like Naruto Maki. Naruto deadpanned as he sighed. I don't know, Ka-chan never really thought of it that deep. At least like that, she liked my name from a book. You know who Jiraiya of the Sannin is? Of course, I do, who doesn't? Yeah, well did you know he write those trashy Ika Ika book series? Yes, unfortunately. Oi, those books are works of literature. I won't have you be disrespecting his name nor his work. Otherwise, you two can leave. Derek shouted from back. Sorry. Naruto apologized for not wanting to be kicked out. Yeah, sorry, Yugito said with an almost no-care tone in the world. Well, believe it or not, there was one book that wasn't bad he made. Naruto looked up at the sky thinking about it. It is called The Tale of the Utter Gutsy Shinobi, and the book is actually about the main hero named Naruto. That's where my 2-chan found it and liked the name. It grew on Ka-chan as she eventually liked it too. You should give it a read, it's actually pretty good. It's just a good story. I see. Well, if I stop by the bookstore I'll give it a look at. Hey, just to let ya know, Naruto, tomorrow we're gonna be heading back to Kumo, Yugito said. Naruto sighed. Ah, I see. It's a shame you all have to go. I enjoyed hanging out with you guys a lot. Yeah, same here. For someone so young, you've got a lot of potential, Yugito replied. Yeah, Naruto trailed off, looking down at his bowl. Yugito narrowed her eyes, sensing there was more on his mind. Is there something wrong? She asked, raising an eyebrow in curiosity. Well, it's just, I guess I haven't been completely honest with you guys, Naruto admitted. I know, Yugito said simply. What? I'm not very good at hiding things, am I? Naruto stammered. Actually, yeah, you are. But it's clear there are some things you can't reveal. We all know that, but me and Samui, along with B, figured it out a lot sooner than the others. Don't think Karui or Omoi caught on, she explained. Yeah, makes sense. But I am truthful about who my Ka-chan and Nei-chan are, Naruto said earnestly. Don't worry, already confirmed that, Yugito said with a knowing smile. Oh, right, Shinobi, Naruto said, scratching the back of his head. Yugito nodded. So, what's the plan after this? Well, a little while longer, Ka-chan and Nei-chan are taking me to Konoha. They want to finally settle down there and raise me once I turn 12 years old, Naruto explained. They're gonna have you attend the academy, right? Yugito asked. Yeah, makes sense. You have the gift to be a shinobi. You're strong, it'd be crazy for you not to be part of it, she acknowledged. So then, why help me even though you knew I wouldn't be at Kumo? Naruto asked, looking at her with sincere curiosity. Yugito smiled warmly, pausing for a moment before she spoke. Naruto, when I was your age, I had to train on my own. Many refused to help me because of what I am. When I see you, I see a bit of myself. I don't want you to go through what I did. That's why I agreed to help you. Because I know what it's like to want help and not get it. Naruto felt a warmth in his chest at her words. Thanks, Yugito. That means a lot. Just then, the voice of Matabi, the two tails, echoed in Yugito's mind with a teasing tone. Are you grooming this boy to be your future boyfriend, Yugito? You're quite the cougar. Yugito's eyes widened, and she blurted out, shut up, Nibby. Then she quickly realized what she had said and looked at Naruto, who was staring at her strangely. I mean, yeah, of course glad to help you out, Yugito stammered, her cheeks turning a light shade of pink. Naruto, still looking at her curiously, said, you're kinda weird, Yugito, but I think it's cool. Makes you unique. Yugito's blush deepened, and she couldn't help but smile. Matabi purred in her mind, clearly enjoying the situation. He's a good match for you, kitten. I approve. Yugito's heart skipped a beat, but she quickly turned back to her ramen, hoping to hide her flustered state. Naruto continued to smile, happy to have made such a strong and special connection. She was interesting due to her personality, she talked to herself a lot. He doesn't know why nor who this Nibby was. But it clearly something a part of her which he found funny. Backquote. 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 Time skip 2 years later. Konoha. Naruto age, 12. Naruto found himself at the front gates of Konoha. He stood at the height of now 5 feet 5. He matched the same height when he met Nibby Jinchuriki. If things played how it would have normally, but of course nothing ever works the way he wants it to. He currently found himself alone again, at the front gates of Konoha. His mother and Shizune were forced to stay at another nearby village. Apparently an outbreak of tuberculosis was infecting the place. His mother and older sister were doing their best to handle said situation. They were able to again quarantine everyone within the hospital. Naruto was currently wearing a green shirt, with a black symbol of the leaf on it. It was covered by a white jacket that had a hood. Since it wasn't visible, nor did Naruto want to reveal his family status just yet. Naruto made sure the hood covered the Senju clan crest for now. Naruto entered through the gates and began to look around, excited to see the new place. Of course, the two gate guard, Azumo and Katetsu, spotted the young blonde. Oi, kid, over here. Naruto went walking over. Hello there, pleasure to meet you too. Katetsu looked at Naruto with interest, for some reason. The kid reminded him a lot of someone, but who? This your first time in the village? Yeah, first time here. I actually have a meeting with the Hokage. I see. Do you have any form of identification here? Katetsu looked over to Azumo, who began to get out their stamps and pens for signing. Actually, Naruto scratched his cheek. Ka-chan and Nei-chan are currently in another small village helping them out. We're traveling medics, and like I said, Hokage-sama has been expecting me today. The name is Naruto. I promise that I'll go straight to him. Then he'll let you know that I'm in the clear. Mainly because I have no identification papers here, in Konoha. Just then an Anbu landed on the ground next to Naruto. though the Anbu noted that Naruto was already looking towards her direction. He did a good job hiding his gaze though. If you're here to see Hokage-sama, I can take him. Kotetsu, Azumo, it seems he speaks the truth from what I'm getting from him. The Anbu had a kitsune fox mask and Naruto could tell it was a female. He also noted the long red hair that went down her back. Alright, if you insist Kitsune, he's all yours. Kotetsu and Azumo sat back down in their chairs deciding to let the Anbu handle it. Naruto turned to the Anbu lady, you can head straight down to that giant red tower that has the word for fire on it. You can just head inside, I'll keep an eye on you from a distance, kid. Like that, she simply jumped in the air and disappeared from sight. Cool, Naruto commented as he placed his hands back in his pocket and began to walk down the streets. Naruto looked around the place and took in the scenery. It was actually pretty cool place to be in, also there were way more people here. More than in the villages he and his family ever visited. Eventually Naruto made his way into the tower and went up a flight of stairs. He made his way up and found a lady working at the desk. He walked over and said, "Excuse me, Mom, I'm here to see the Hokage. He's been expecting me today, can you tell him my name is Naruto?" "Of course I can, I don't see you on the list here as a visitor. But I can check with him." The lady got up and went over to the door and knocked on it. She opened the door and poked her head in. "Excuse me, Hokage-sama, but I have a boy here by the name of Naruto here to see." He said he. The lady didn't even get to finish as he said, "Oh, Naruto. Please send him in. I ask that if someone else comes to see me within the next hour or two, tell them I am busy with this one, it's important and I need to speak with him." "Oh, I see, Hokage-sama, I'll let the next person know." Like that, the lady came walking back to Naruto. "Hokage-sama will see you, you can go right inside." Naruto did as she said and walked into the room. Hiruzen, who sat at his desk, was currently smoking his pipe. He saw the young boy walking into his office. "Ah, Naruto, welcome, please come in. Come in. Please have a seat, Anbu, leave us." Hiruzen also gestured and like that Naruto felt all Anbu leave the room. Hiruzen noted that and saw Naruto's eyes wandering around the room. Hiruzen made a hand seal and slammed it on the desk. Like that, kanji and words spread across the wall until they disappeared. "Oh, Fuinjutsu, Ero Sennin has been teaching me about it. It's a privacy barrier, right?" Hiruzen was impressed. "My dear boy, that's absolutely correct. Seems Ero." Hiruzen raised an eyebrow confused. "Wait, who is Ero Sennin?" "Oh, you mean Jiraiya? Yeah, I call him Ero Sennin." "Ahahaha." Hiruzen let out a hearty chuckle as he shook his head looking at Naruto. "I've never imagined a name like that would be used for him. It seems Tsunade has been teaching you well." "Indeed, Ka-chan has. It seems her snarky and crass nature was hereditary. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, huh? Seems to be so. Please have a seat. I'd love to hear about you a bit and what you've been up to." Hiruzen again gestured for Naruto to take a seat, which he did so and sat down. "Well, where do I begin? I guess I can begin with training I've been doing." Like that, Naruto and Hiruzen for the next hour talked about his training, as well as the different things that Jiraiya, Shizune, and Suand have done with him. From what Hiruzen was here, it seems Naruto was going to be quite the shinobi. "I see. That's very interesting, Naruto-kun. It seems Jiraiya and Tsunade have trained and raised you well." "Indeed they have. Hee if I'm being honest. From how Ka-chan described Ero Sennin all the time, I can't believe he actually fit a really good role as a father. Ero Sennin talks a lot about you, saying you did well in teaching him and raising him as his sensei." "He did? Oh wow. Guess things like this really do change people." "Yeah, It changed Ka-chan a lot too. I've been working with Nei-chan on it, but I think Ka-chan still might have a crush on Ero Sennin. I've been seeing the way she's been looking at him for the past few years now. Wait, really? Hiruzen was practically on the edge of his seat with everything Naruto was talking about. Yeah, she tries to hide it a lot with sake or looks away. But she's terrible at it. I just wonder when Ero Sennin is just going to shoot for it. Naruto smiled as he looked at his lap. Honestly, I'd wish he would just ask her out already. Hiruzen smiled hearing this. He was glad for the two honestly. He knew about Jiraiya's feelings for a long time. Naruto seemed to be the perfect thing for Tsunade to help her get out of her depression. He certainly was the best thing that happened to her. I see. Well, I'm sure with everything you're fath. Hiruzen stopped himself as he realized he just up. It's okay, I know who my 2-chan is. Naruto looked over to see Minato's portrait hanging on the wall. Just say it happened at an inconvenient time. Oh, I also know I hold the 9 tails as well. Learned that as well. Oh, I see, how did they tell you? They told it to me straight and were honest with me. Ero Sennin was the one who suggested it too, and Ka-chan decided it was the best too. Wow. Hiruzen ran his hand through what remaining amount of hair he had left. To think that not only Suon did a great job as a mother, but even Jiraiya, filling in that father role so well, I'll be damned. Don't worry, from what Ka-chan says about Ero Sennin all the time. I thought he'd be a rough father figure, but actually, he did a really good job. I think it was because I was 2-chan's son, he felt obligated to do his best. Well, when you put it like that, then yes. If anyone could get Jiraiya really serious about something, it would be Tsunade, or Minato. It seems he was really determined to do his best. I'll admit, he did a great job. He's a terrible pervert, great sensei, but an even more amazing 2-chan. Hiruzen smiled happily at that, feeling his old heartstrings be really tugged by that. Well, I won't keep you for too long, Naruto-kun. Besides, I want you to settle in and relax, because tomorrow I'll be revealing your existence into the world. Naruto sighed at that. Yeah, I'll try to enjoy what peace and quiet I have now. I think I'd liked it better when people don't know who I was. I can understand that, Naruto-kun, but it's a big deal. Many people will be happy, heck, you might even get your own fan club. Hiruzen began to giggle as Naruto was groaning at the thought of it. If anything, Ero Sennin told me, fangirls are not easy. It seems 2-chan dealt with that same issue too. Meh. Do your best, anyways. For tomorrow I want you to attend the academy final test before you're made genin. You'll take a written test and be given physical test. I'm sure you'll do just fine. Just make sure to give this to Iruka there. I already told him that you'd be there tomorrow, yesterday. Oh, your apartment address and key is in the second envelope. Hiruzen handed Naruto the 2 envelopes for him to hold onto. Got it? Well, anything else, Hokage-sama? You don't have to be so formal with me, Naruto-kun. Hokage Gigi or Gigi-chan is just fine, my boy. Oh, great. Geez, if I'm being honest on anything, being really formal makes me feel old. Naruto chuckled, to which Hiruzen couldn't agree more. Sounds just like your father, Naruto-kun. He was never one such things as that either. Now, go enjoy yourself for the rest of today. Tomorrow is going to be an interesting day for you. Will do. Thanks again, Gigi-chan. Catch ya later. Naruto began to walk out of the room. Oh, one more thing, my boy. Naruto turned to Hiruzen, wondering what his question was. I know you don't need it. But good luck, I'm sure you'll do just great. Hiruzen made some hand seals and released the privacy barrier as Naruto waved to him. Thanks, appreciate it. Naruto walked out of the room. Naruto made his way out of the Hokage office and walked outside. He took a deep breath and smiled, then he felt his stomach growl. He was hungry, and he wondered to himself, do they got any ramen stands around here? Naruto began to search around until the smell of ramen hit his nose. Naruto smiled as he began to follow it as he found it. He looked up at the sign, Ichiraku Ramen. Huh, seems good. Naruto walked over and plopped himself on a seat. A girl came walking out from the back and smiled at him. Hello there, welcome to Ichiraku Ramen. I've never seen your face around here before. You knew. Naruto smiled and nodded his head. Yup. Name is Naruto. First time in Konoha actually. I really like ramen. The girl giggled at that. Well, that's interesting. There's a kunoichi who comes here frequently because she loves ramen. Oh, cool. She must understand that ramen is the food for the gods. Wow. That's the exact same thing she says. If I didn't know any better, I'd think you were her son. Ah ha ha. Well, it seems I'm not the only one around here who thinks ramen is that great. Anyways, my 2-chan owns the stands. He's out right now resupplying, but how can I help you today? Wait, you cook the ramen? Yup, I think I'm in love. Naruto mumbled to himself, pretty, cute, and can cook me ramen whenever I want. I think I'll marry her. The girl giggled as she said, I think I'm a bit too old for you there, but I'll admit, you're a cute kid. Oh, ops, well, I was being honest about the pretty and cute part. It's okay, besides, I'm 16. Oh, that reminds me, name is Ayame. Sorry for the late introduction. Oh, no worries, sorry about that, just really enjoy ramen is all. Ayame just waved off Naruto's compliments. Of course, I get it, but like I said, what would you like to order? Ayame had to admit, Naruto was a cute kid, but not really someone she's looking for. Besides, she had to be at least a few years older than him. After about an hour and 15 ramen bowls later, Naruto began making his way to his temporary apartment with a full belly. Just mulling over how great life is, scratch that, how ramen is along with a pretty girl who is cooking his ramen is. Backquote. 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 Next day 8 a.m. in the morning council chambers. Hiruzen just sat down in the council meeting chambers with everyone important to the village present. Koharu, Homura, and Danzo, the 3 advisors to the Hokage. Then the different head clan members, Inoichi, Shikaku, Choza, Sum, Hiyashi, Fugaku, and some other minor clans, and head civilian council members too. The only seats that were missing at the time was the Senju seat. Everyone was dead tired and annoyed that the summons from the Hokage was so sudden. And so early, this wasn't like the old monkey at all. Ah, good morning everyone, sorry to have woken you up so early. But as you can see, as they always say, the early bird always gets the worm. Koharu didn't want to hear it. Come on Sarutobi, enough, just get to the point for waking us all up so early. Hiruzen could only chuckle seeing everyone's tired responses and grumbles of annoyance. Well, to not beat around the bush, yesterday we had a young man join the village yesterday. Today, we are going to be having him join our shinobi ranks today. Everyone looked at if he was insane. Danzo looked to Hiruzen, Sarutobi, are you going senile in your old age? This is a serious breach of security, we can't just have a random boy join our shinobi ranks. We should get Anbu and bring him to Ibi. Danzo was cut off from his sentence by none other than Shikaku. Let's not get ahead of ourselves Shimura Dono, I'm sure Hokage-sama has his reason. The lazy Nara clan head scratched the back of his head tiredly. Also, Mikoto and Hitomi Hyuga also attended the meeting too. As the clan heads' wives, they're also responsible for attending. Well, they weren't mandatory to be there, but it kept up good public image. Since the two clans were some of the most prodigious clans in the village. Ah, I see, but it's okay though, Danzo. I can concur as I know the boy and the boy's mother. I mean, I was there for when he was born. Hiruzen let out a stifled chuckle, causing everyone to look at him confused. Hiruzen during meetings usually wasn't this relaxed nor easygoing about things. Okay. Then who is the boy? Stop stalling, Sarutobi. Homura quickly interjected, trying to get the old man to spill already. Hiruzen lit a pipe and used some chakra to light it on fire. He took a drag and smirked. This is one of the many times I enjoy being Hokage. Nothing big, just the boy's mother is none other than Tsunade. Excuse me, what? Sarutobi, I think I might be losing my hearing. Ahaha, but did you just say, the boy's mother is Tsunade? Inoichi sat up in his seat trying to clean the non-existent earwax in his ear. You heard me, the boy is none other than Suan Senju's son. His name is Naruto, wonderful young boy I must add. What? Senju Tsunade had a son? One civilian member shouted. No, it can't be. No way. What do you mean? Choza, who was munching on a waffle, presumably dropped the waffle on the table. Shikaku was actually alert for the first time. Inoichi was currently, or what seemed like, he was having a seizure of some sorts. Fugaku, Hiyashi, Hitomi, and Mikoto sitting in their seats were all aghast by the sudden news. By this, Danzo's eyes widen in surprise along with Homura and Kaharu. How are you so sure about this? Kaharu tried to form words, but her current vocabulary was failing her. I was there for the birth. I was named as his Gigi after all. Hiruzen took another drag, thinking about how much Naruto was going to cause the shinobi world to turn upside down. This is great news. But wait. Sarutobi, why did you wait to inform us? Yes, this incredible and amazing news. Kaharu added, to which many civilian council members looked at Hiruzen wanting answers. Simple. She didn't want him to be raised in the village. She thought he would be raised better outside of the village. Of course, with the help of Jiraiya as well. Plus she didn't want him growing up spoiled as a kid. Wait, the boy is joining our academy. Was he trained by the two? Danzo asked, curious about the boy's skill. No clue whatsoever, but I'm assuming if he is joining our shinobi ranks. I'm assuming Suan and Jiraiya taught him well. Wait, does that mean Jiraiya is the father? Kaharu quickly intervened, causing everyone's eyes to widen more. Oh, heavens no, in fact I don't think they're anywhere that close as they were for the past 30 years. Jiraiya has been trying to swoon Suan off her feet. It was clear someone else got to her before him. Hiruzen began to chuckle, thinking back to Minato. This is serious, Hiruzen. Who is the father if not Jiraiya? If only you knew, and even believed it. Hiruzen said to himself, truthfully and honestly, Suan hasn't revealed that. When I asked, she said it wasn't my concern. Of course, you're still interested and wish to know. Go ask her, your funeral. When Hiruzen said that, many quietly and all agreed to never ask the woman that. No one wants to face the wrath of Tsunade Senju. But with that said, I wanted to inform you all about him. As I know it was important for you all to learn about him. Of course, Tsunade is busy dealing with an outbreak of tuberculosis right now in a small village. I would advise doing anything when she isn't here or even is here. Trust me, I think we all want to survive the night and wake up the next morning alive. Most people nodded their heads and accepted Hiruzen's information at face value. Of course, many were already mentally planning their own ways to meet Naruto. Do what they can to get their kids to get close to him. Mainly those with daughters around his age, Danzo to help him see the light, and two certain women. Specifically, Hitomi and Mikoto Uchiha, the two wondering and thinking hard. And remembering how they hooked up Tsunade with a guy. They knew that Minato was the last guy Tsunade ever really met at a bar. Of course, Tsunade and Jiraiya would never happen, but it was possible. From across the room, Mikoto and Hitomi looked at one another. They telepathically told one another they had to meet up, and soon. The current classroom of the graduating class of Konoha had multiple kids in there. Many of whom were hoping to pass and continue on as genin of Konoha. In the room we had some prominent shinobi stand out, some of which were the heirs and heiresses of their respective clans. We had some of whom were widely known already. Ino Yamanaka, Choji Akamichi, Shikamaru Nara, Shino Aburame, Kiba Inuzuka, Hinata Hyuga, and two more kids that stuck out in the class. One was a boy with black eyes and spiky black hair with a blue tint. His hair is long and has hung over his face as bangs. This boy was none other than Sasuke Uchiha, the current newly named heir of the Uchiha clan. He was accompanied by someone similar to him. He had on a navy blue, short-sleeved shirt with a high collar, white shorts, and, for a time, white arm warmers. However, she was unmistakably different in terms of appearance. She resembled her mother a lot. She has fair skin with long, straight black hair that was tied up into a ponytail behind her head. With the rest of her hair was in a Harem-style haircut with bangs hanging on either side of her face to roughly frame her cheeks and black eyes. Check out my Pinterest to see what she looks like. She kinda of resembled Shizuka with her hairstyle. This was the twin of Sasuke Uchiha, Satsuki Uchiha. She had on a black top that went slightly past her hips. She had a light sash over her waist with a red ribbon tied around. She had fishnet mesh stockings on her legs, and long leggings that went down to her feet. The class was currently talking and in a slight uproar about the final day of the academy. Eventually Iruka came walking into the room as he tapped the papers on his desk. This got everyone's attention as they quickly settled down and were quiet. Hello, and good morning everyone, glad you all could make it. Iruka placed the papers down as he held one piece of paper in his hand. The scarred Chunin teacher smiled at the kids in front of him. I must admit I am quite proud of how far you all have come. No doubt that you've all gotten strong and hopefully are ready to move on from here. However, before we begin I have a surprising announcement to make to all of you. He gestured to the door with his left hand and began to read off the paper. He looked at the name on the paper as he said, we have a new student who not only will be joining you all today, but will be graduating today with you if he passes. His name is. Iruka went to read the name until his eyes bulged out of his sockets. The kids in the classroom all were able to compute the information Iruka just gave them. Some of them complained, wait, some new kids gets to skip out on the entire academy. Yeah, that's not fair. What of all the suffering we went through? Iruka glared at the kid. I mean very helpful and educational learning experience. The scarred Chunin sighed as he looked at the paper. Why, you can come out and introduce yourself. Iruka called out to Naruto, not realizing he forgot to state his name. Naruto opened the door and came walking in. When he saw everyone did take an interest. Whoa, who is this kid? I don't know, but he's kinda of cute. I wonder if he has a boyfriend. Wonder if he's single. Naruto deadpanned almost immediately. This was going to be a rough day. Some of the other kids like the heirs and heiresses looked onwards uninterested. Except for a certain blonde girl with a ponytail. Then black-haired girl with a Harem haircut looked at Naruto interested in him. Naruto waved to them all. Hello everyone, name is Naruto Senju, a pleasure to meet you all. When Naruto said this, The entire room went silent. Choji's eyes widened as he stopped eating from his bag of chips. Shikamaru, who had his head down, shot it up with his eyes widened. Ino looked bewildered. Hinata, Shino, and Kiba had confused looks on their faces. Sasuke looked very interested hearing this news, while his twin looked at Naruto curiously. Just then one certain pinkett hair shouted, "Wait! How is that possible? The only remaining senju known to be left is... She's my Ka-chan, yup. The one and only." Naruto stated proudly, placing his hands on his hips, letting out a happy chuckle. "Iruka-sensei, is this true?" Sasuke asked while not taking his eyes off Naruto. Iruka, reading over the letter from the Hokage, couldn't believe what he was reading. Iruka just nodded his head. Hokage-sama said, "This is true, he was there on the day of Naruto's birthday." The Chunin teacher looked to Naruto in shock. This was unreal. Naruto looked intensely at Sasuke as he did so back. Iruka saw the two stare at one another. Iruka swore he saw Hashirama and Madara once again facing off against one another. Interesting. Sasuke mumbled out, looking at Naruto with interest in his eyes. The twin of Sasuke looked to Naruto with her own interest in her eyes as well. This was a new development, to think that Tsunade had a kid. It was funny, because for whatever reason, Satsuki remembers her mother and Hitomi talking together the other night. "Naruto, why don't you go ahead and take a seat so we can begin?" "Yeah, I can do that, sensei." Naruto walked up towards the desks full of students and found a seat next to the raven-haired Uchiha girl. Naruto smiled, turning towards her. "Naruto, happy to meet you." Satsuki smirked, looking towards him. She was pretty sure he didn't know she was an Uchiha. "This would be fun, Satsuki Uchiha, pleasure to meet you." Though, Naruto saw another head pop from the side. Naruto saw Sasuke, her twin brother, starting at him with a glare. "Pleasure. This is my brooding twin, Sasuke. Oi, I can introduce myself, Satsuki." "Ah, you weren't going to do it anyways." His twin retorted back as he looked at her annoyed. "Well, maybe you weren't going to. Now leave it." Iruka wasn't to continue. Sasuke shut up, deciding to now deal with her. Anyways, Iruka began to talk about the test today to graduate from the academy. Satsuki leaned over towards Naruto and whispered, "Don't mind my twin too much, he's just a brooding raven. Not a lot to him, he just trains day in and day out. Boring to me if I'm honest, but he's my twin." Naruto chuckled and whispered back, "Yeah, must be cool to have a twin. Seems like a really intense brother." "Ah, don't mind him. 2chan is hard on him since he was named heir of the clan. Itachi ni decided to not do it." "Oh, I see, it seems he's under a lot of pressure." "Yeah, but I don't envy him honestly, I like where I sit. Also, it doesn't help that I'm stronger than he is. Really. Yup. Kicked his butt constantly, but out of the kindness of my heart. I let him win during the academy years. Dang, you're ruthless. I like conniving better. He. Never would I have imagined an Uchiha be like you. Jiraiya tends to say that you're all pretty serious and tense. Nah, I'm more vocal about my feelings. I take after Kushina sensei more actually." "Who?" "Oh, she's an Anbu, her and Ka-chan are best friends." "That's cool. So, the red-hot habanero. Jiraiya has talked about her a few times, heard her swordsmanship is unparalleled." "You bet it is, but trained under two of the legendary 3 Sannin. I wanna know how strong you are." He. I like to think I'm pretty strong," Satsuki said with a smug look on her face. "Can't wait to see it." Naruto smirked, seeing the look of arrival. Naruto was being reminded of Yugito a lot. Of course, the only difference was they still held back quite a bit from one another. She never used her tailed beast against him, so it was still a toss-up in the air. It was very clear to Naruto that Satsuki was very much different from most shinobi in the room. Or at least what he has seen so far. With that said, we'll call up everyone to do their 3 ninjutsu, shuriken and kunai test. Then we finish with the written portion. Any questions? Iruka looked around and no one said anything. Alright, let's head on outside, we'll do our ninjutsu and the shuriken and kunai test. Everyone went outside to get ready and Iruka called up individuals to come up and do their jutsus. Soon Naruto was called up, he flawlessly did the substitution jutsu. He replaced himself with Iruka, he then transformed into Tobirama, and for his clone. Naruto said, Shadow Clone Jutsu. Like that 4 solid clones of Naruto appeared. This shocked Iruka. Whoa. Wait. Naruto, those are. Yup. Arrow Sennin taught me how to make them. Who's Arrow Sennin? Naruto turned his head to see a pink-haired girl with green eyes asked confused. Oh, he's my godfather uncle, it's Jiraiya of the Sannin. Wait, why would you give someone of his status a name like that? The girl looked to him confused and flabbergasted by Naruto's name for the legendary man. I would double-check that. Naruto looked to her confused. What's your name? Sakura. Ah, I see, he's the author of those Ika Ika Paradise books. He researches by peeping on women in the hot springs. Do I need to say anything more? Oh, yup. Anyways, ready for the next part, Iruka-sensei. Alright, you know what to do. Naruto looked towards the targets and held 5 shuriken in one hand and 5 kunai in the other. He threw them with pinpoint accuracy, making a line down the middle of the 2 logs. Excellent, Naruto. Next up Satsuki and then Sasuke. Backquote. 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 Hour and half later, academy classroom. Eventually everyone finished up their practical part of the test and was now onto the written portion. Naruto finished up his test pretty quickly, as did many other kids in the academy. Satsuki finished first, followed by the girl Sakura. It was clear the pinkett was smart, but it seemed she lacked in the physical department. Typical fangirls, he was surprised by the Yamanaka heiress as well. He didn't think she would be one. Soon though, Iruka finished the tests and smiled. Good job everyone, I'm proud to have taught you all from the past 4 years. Of course, Naruto, you're the only exception here. Everyone else did a good job. As to this year Kunoichi and Rookie of the Year, this will go to Sasuke Uchiha and Satsuki Uchiha. Iruka wasn't going to continue on the dead last until he saw Kiba raise his hand. Wait, sensei, what about the one who is dead last? Iruka sighed as he looked over towards Naruto. It would be Naruto of AHAHAH. Of course, Senju would end up being. I'd watch your tongue, dog boy. Naruto looked back up at him with his left eye. You barely made a good enough clone. Let alone can't make a shadow clone, if that doesn't mean anything. I don't know what will. Everyone had to admit, Naruto had a point on that one. Kiba just sat there with a low growl, with Akamaru, who was in his jacket, let out a small whimper. Iruka chuckled from Naruto's reaction. He's got a point there, Kiba. Actually, if Naruto would have attended all 4 years, he would have definitely been Rookie of the Year if he could beat Sasuke in a one-on-one. Sasuke smirked at the idea as he looked towards Naruto. Naruto looked back towards him. Seemingly invisible sparks of lighting appeared between the two. Even if they weren't visible, everyone could feel it. I'd be down for it, Iruka-sensei. The blonde Senju smirked. I'd be happy to entertain that thought. Iruka chuckled at the idea. It seemed like both boys were wanting to do so. Alright, I can sanction this duel. There's no jutsus or anything. Pure taijutsu, and we'll also do the seal of confrontation and reconciliation. Everyone, up and outside. Everyone quickly made their way outside, and murmurs through the rest of the school sparked interest. News of Tsunade having a son spread like wildfire since the council meeting. Now that a spar was taking place between the son of Tsunade and Fugaku, people came to watch the spar to see what the two were made up. Also, because of the old rivalry between the two clans, Naruto and everyone walked outside as they stood within a circle already on the ground. Naruto stood across from Sasuke as the two both made the seal of confrontation. Remember what I said, no ninjutsu, purely taijutsu. I stop the match when I think it's gone too far. Naruto and Sasuke both fell into stances ready to fight. Only difference, Sasuke fell into the Uchiha Interceptor Fist. It would be more effective once he unlocked his Sharingan. For Naruto, he had a battle stance that was quite familiar to his mother's. Ready? Iruka asked, looking at both fighters, as neither one of them glanced towards him. Though it was also worth mentioning all the other classes were looking out their windows watching them. Even said older brother was looking down from a rooftop along with a woman with red hair. Interesting, seems little Sasuke found himself a rival, nay Taiko. Indeed, he did. You still never got little Sasuke to beat my Satsuki though. Indeed, Satsuki is far more skilled, but give Sasuke enough time. He has a lot of untapped potential. The Anbu with a weasel mask replied back, smirking behind the mask. Watching his little brother and sister always made him smile. Hajime, Iruka shouted, swinging his arm downwards. The two didn't move from their spots, from what Naruto could tell. The two waited as they all saw a leaf begin to float down. The two didn't remove their eyes from one another as the leaf twirled in the air. Eventually it landed on the ground, and that's where the two shot off from their spots. The two, fast from the normal academy student, bashed their right forearms together. Sasuke flinched in shock from the force their forearms collided. He was taken back by it, but was also shocked to see that it didn't affect Naruto at all. The blonde Senju noted that, as he swung his left fist. Sasuke ducked under and brought his right arm back to his side. Then launched it forward to strike Naruto's solar plexus. Naruto quickly brought his left knee up, blocking his strike. The son of Tsunade quickly brought his right hand up to hit the Uchiha. Sasuke quickly pushed off to gain distance from his opponent and fell into his fighting stance once again. Naruto relaxed and did the same as the two analyzed one another, from what everyone else saw. The two were dead even in strength, at least, that's what they all thought. Naruto knew to hold back some of his stronger attacks and couldn't use ninjutsu. So, he'll have to kick up his speed and start punching harder. Sasuke caught his breath and then shot forwards again towards Naruto. Sasuke his Naruto with a feint by looking like he was going to hit with his left. Then swung his left around to hit Naruto in his left temple. Naruto reacted quick enough and caught his fist with his left hand. Sasuke readied himself for an incoming attack, but he felt a tug. Before Sasuke realized it, Naruto yanked him closer to him, as Naruto slammed his right fist into the Uchiha heir's stomach. Sasuke's eyes went white, feeling the attack go into his stomach. Sasuke tried to regain his composure as quickly as possible. However, Naruto didn't give him the time to react, using his superior strength and speed. Naruto then took his right hand back to himself and extended his left hand out. This slammed right into Sasuke's left temple, causing him to fall to the ground out cold. Winner. Naruto. Iruka shouted out as he went over towards Sasuke quickly to check on him. Naruto. From what Iruka could tell, Naruto was vastly stronger than Sasuke. The match wasn't even close. Naruto was being courteous in the beginning. Then he showed his true strength to him. He might have a slight concussion from that blow. But after night's rest he should be fine. Naruto quickly gave a prognosis, to which Iruka looked to the blonde heir. Tsunade-sama taught you medical ninjutsu. Yup. I'm just a bit below in skills of Nei-chan. I can heal fractures in bones, but that's it. Naruto stated proudly, which surprised everyone in the area. Before Naruto knew it, the fangirls that fangirled over Sasuke were now beginning to cheer for him. To which left a stunned Sakura, and a shocked and giddy and happy Ino. Once Sasuke began to come to Naruto walked over, forming the seal of reconciliation towards Sasuke. Sasuke looked at Naruto rather peeved and annoyed him, but could accept it. It was clear he had better training. You're strong, but I'll get stronger, so watch out, Senju. I wouldn't have it any other way. The two formed the seal together after Sasuke stood up. Though Sasuke leaned in close, glaring at Naruto. Also, stay away from my sister. Naruto chuckled. I mean, she's the one who initiated contact with me first. Just watch yourself, I'll get stronger. Sasuke stood up and began to walk back inside of the classroom. He should really get that concussion checked out, Naruto added as Sasuke ignored him walking away. Don't worry, I'll make sure he gets checked out. Satsuki came walking up next to Naruto. Not bad, newbie, not bad at all. Oi, newbie has a name, ya know. Sure, newbie. Princess. You are not calling me that. Neither are you calling me newbie. The two paused for a moment until the two broke out into laughter. Everyone around them looked at the two confused. For some it clicked once they realized that Satsuki actually initiated conversation with Naruto. Everyone knows Sasuke kept to himself, meanwhile his twin sister was the completely opposite. She was willing to go out of her way to get to know people, but spoke her mind when she needed to. Once everyone got back inside, Iruka took the paperwork and smiled. Well done everyone, I'm happy to see you all go off to your shinobi careers. In 2 days' time, please come back here to be assigned to your teams. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Class dismissed. With that, everyone began to stand up and talk to one another. Meanwhile, Iruka left the classroom to let his students, or ex-students, talk to the Naruto. Before Naruto knew it, he was being hounded by boys and girls asking him a billion questions. What was his like training with two of the legendary Sannin? What is Tsunade-sama like as a mother? Can you perform summoning? You able to use fire ninjutsu? What about lightning ninjutsu? Water jutsu? Come on, tells us. No. More importantly, some of the girls pushed away the guys. Do you have a girlfriend? What type of girls are your type? Wanna date me? No. Be my boyfriend, I'm better. No. Me. My ka-chan is double D's. Marry me, Senju. Naruto began to deadpan at the last few comments and question, ladies, could you all just I mean. I'm not really interested in that kinda of stuff right now. But could you all maybe back up or let me go please so I can, get some training done. He's so nice. Polite unlike Sasuke-kun. Yeah, Naruto-kun is way better. Some of the Sasuke fangirls began throwing their homemade Sasuke-kun t-shirts to the side. Now concocting to start making a Naruto Senju one. Naruto looked onwards out the window. For the love of Kami, someone get me out of here. Why couldn't Ka-chan and Nei-chan teach me to be mean? Just then from the group someone pushed through them. Naruto saw Satsuki run up and grab his arm. Come on, let's get the hell out of here. Before the fangirls knew it, Naruto and Satsuki disappeared. Sakura meanwhile looked at the thrown away Sasuke-kun t-shirts on the ground. She walked over and began to cry as she held them close. It was all so fast. They ditched and threw Sasuke-kun to the curb so quick. Those non-loyal cheeky horas. The lot of them. At least Ino hasn't. Sakura looked over to see Ino staring off into space. Well, more precisely where Naruto was just at before Satsuki came and rescued him. Wow. Not only is he a lot more polite and nicer than Sasuke-kun. He even got the most difficult girl in the entire class to talk to him. Like it was nothing. Shikamaru sighed as he began to walk out of the classroom. What a drag, seriously it always has to be blondes. Choji just continued to munch on his snacks. Shino simply shook his head, he was glad for a new classmate. Of course, he wanted to get to know Naruto more. But for what Ino is saying, isn't entirely false either. No one, and absolutely no one has ever gotten Sasuke or even Satsuki to interact with them like that. It was rare to see Satsuki's personality make or even have Sasuke try in a spar. Backquote. 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 Outside, Naruto and Satsuki quickly made their way outside after ditching the other students in the classroom. Naruto sighed as he looked over to Satsuki, who had a smirk on her face. Ha, so it seems the great and mighty Senju clan members do have a weakness. Oi, don't patronize me, fighting a girl isn't a problem with me. It's dealing with fangirls who harp all over you. Ka-chan and Nei-chan should have taught me better to deal with them. Naruto ran his hand through his hair, annoyed. Ha ha ha, you're certainly not what I expect to who you would be. But you seem like an alright guy. Thanks, I guess. Naruto was unsure of how to take that, it seemed like a compliment. It's a compliment, newbie. You aren't going to stop calling me that, are you? Nope. Sigh. Alright then, fine, but thanks for the save anyways. Not a problem. Alright then. Well, what else you got going on today? Nothing too crazy. Might see if Kushina-sensei is available for some sparring. Satsuki summoned a katana from a seal on her wrist. Been working on my kenjutsu since I was 10. Cool. What's the fight style you use? It's the Ryusui Kenjutsu, flowing dragon sword technique. Ryusui Kenjutsu is a sophisticated swordsmanship style that combines the fluid movements of water with the fierce power of a dragon. Developed for those who can harness water ninjutsu into one's kenjutsu, this technique emphasizes seamless integration of strong sword strikes. But keeping in mind of the fluid motion of water to create a versatile and overwhelming combat style. Wow. That's pretty impressive, honestly. Truthfully, I've been working on my own fighting style similar to Ka-chan's and Arrow Senin. Jiraiya. Right. Yup. Just wanted to make sure I got that right. Wait. So does that mean you can use the superhuman strength like Tsunade-sama? Since you told me your fighting style, I don't mind telling you. But yes, she did teach it to me, and I currently can crack the ground wide open if need be. That's pretty cool. Sure is. Hey, wanna do some training together? I don't mind, but I don't really wanna show off too many of my skills to you just yet. Well, let's just keep it physical training. I could show you the regimen that Ka-chan and Arrow Senin put me on. Sure, it couldn't hurt. Satsuki decided to hold off on seeing her sensei anyways. They had a training session tomorrow. Backquote. 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 Couple hours later, Naruto finished up as he stopped and turned around to Satsuki, who finally crossed the end of their run. Phew, that was a good run. Why ya, pant gotta be pant kidding me. Satsuki hunched over, placing her hands on her knees trying to catch her breath. I swore I was going to pant. That was insane. Oh, if it was too much you could have just said. Don't you dare pant. Finish that pant sentence. The Senju heir stopped as he waited for the Uchiha princess to catch her breath. Once she did, she stood upwards, running around the village 6 times. That's insane. I mean, we didn't even do it with weights, so it was more like a warm-up, honestly. You're insane, newbie. Aren't you the one who is a? Don't even. Satsuki knew what he was going to say, Look, I've never had training sessions like that before. I am not used to that. Satsuki was impressed by Naruto, a lot actually. The fact he didn't even seem winded was crazier. Naruto could only chuckle at her response. I said I wanted to try it out, just didn't expect that, so oh, what do you do after this? Well, normally Ka-chan then has me do some dodge training. Dodge training? Yup. She throws trees or giant rocks at me to practice my reaction speed and stamina. Naruto placed his hand on the ground. Using Earth Chakra and his enhanced strength picked up a 200-pound rock. Wait. You said rock. This is a rock. No, it's not. That's a boulder. Huh, really? Ka-chan made one about twice the size of this. I consider that a boulder. This is a rock. Scratch that. As cool as Tsunade-sama is, she's also insane. We're medics, we have to do stuff like that. Have to learn to evade danger. Shit. You're right. Hell yeah, I am, otherwise you aren't getting back up. Ya know, I think I learned something about you today. What's that? I hate knowing when you're right. So does that mean, you accept your... No. I'm not weak, damn it. Just... not used to the training you do. Satsuki looked away with an annoyed look on her face as Naruto just chuckled. When you got an overprotective mother, who would single-handedly destroy all 4 other nations to keep you safe. She would make me go through hell so I would be prepared for it. Damn it. I now really hate knowing when you're right. Part of the charm, princess. Now I'm really starting to hate that nickname. It'll begin to work on ya, you'll like it eventually. For a moment the two just stood there in silence. But it wasn't an awkward silence, but more of an understanding between the two. Eventually it came to an end once Satsuki asked, though I am curious, what was it like growing up out of Konoha? It honestly wasn't bad. Nei-chan and Ka-chan always kept me busy. They were with me 24/7 and cared for me. Ero Sennin would drop by, most of the time unannounced, but not unwelcomed. What about friends? Only made one, it was only for a couple of weeks. I mainly taught her how to unlock her chakra and begin to manipulate it. Her name was Graphia, she was really nice, just like you. Thanks. Most people find me closed off and bit of a loner. How come? Didn't find too many of them worth my time, honestly. I gotcha. But yeah, no, Graphia was pretty cool. Maybe had less emotions showed, but she meant well. She was about 13 when I was 7 years old. Little old to be learning to manipulate chakra. Yeah, but she had some real talent in it though. Mastered the leaf control within a few hours and learned to tree walk after 3 days. Never finished water walking though. What? Tree walking and water walking, have you not done those yet? Kushina sensei just had me start learning to tree walk. You mean to tell me you already learned by 7 years old? I guess so if you put it that way. I thought it wasn't that hard to learn. How long did it take you to learn? Less than a day. Got it within about 8 hours of practicing. Why? In 1 day. Satsuki looked at Naruto like he was insane. That's crazy. The fact you have enough chakra to do all that. Oh, yeah, Ka-chan and Ero Sennin told me I grew up with abnormally a lot of chakra. It must be from the Uzumaki and Senju side of my family. Oh, right, Tsunade-sama's grandmother was Mito Uzumaki, right? Yup. So, this Graphia girl, what was she like specifically? I mean, she was nice, gentle, kind, a little monotone in personality. But she changed quickly once she got to know me better. Naruto didn't feel like going into detail about Graphia placing a kiss on his cheek. Okay, but you said you helped her with water walking. I did. So, did she train in swimwear? Oh, why did you go to that? I mean, yeah, we were on the water, so of course we were. Why is it a big deal? Nothing, don't worry about it. Did she master it? No, She had to leave after that. Her and her family were moving. I see. Well, besides that, other training we do is tons of push-ups, sit-ups, and Arrow Senin has me spar a lot. He says fighting is the best experience and best way to figure out your fighting style. Makes sense. It's how I got Kushina sensei's sword fighting style down. Took me a while, but I eventually got it. Backquote. 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 With Kushina and Itachi in the trees. Strong kid, interesting too. The Kitsune Anbu looked onwards at her student and the new Senju boy. He is powerful too. To be able to out-exercise Satsuki is impressive. With the amount of physical training, you put her through anyways. The weasel-masked Anbu responded back with a seemingly monotone voice. Ya know, the two make a pretty cute couple, if you get what I'm saying. Itachi replied back. Oh, don't be like that, the two talk and interact like how you and Izumi do so. Kitsune elbowed the weasel-masked Anbu in the side. He just met Satsuki. She just met him, besides, you saw her, she's the one who engaged with him first. Just then the two noted that Naruto's eyes darted over towards them, which made both of them look at Naruto surprised. Backquote. 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 Back to Naruto and Satsuki. Anyways, why don't we call it here? If you ever want to do more training with me, you're more than welcome to. Yeah, I'll stop by your apartment when I have days off. Satsuki stood up, dusting her skirt and fishnet mesh leggings off. Which this also made Naruto take note in more of Satsuki's attire. She might be the same age as he is, but he could tell she was already developing. Might add more than most of the other girls in the academy. That reminds me, Naruto looked over towards the two figures concealed in the trees. I know you two are there, you can come on out. Satsuki looked over at Naruto in shock, following his gaze. Just then, the two Anbu who had been watching them jumped down. Satsuki immediately recognized them. Oh, Ni-chan. Kushina-sensei. Itachi sighed behind his mask. Satsuki, how many times do I need to tell you? Call me Weasel when I'm on duty. Tomato, Satsuki retorted. Besides, what are you two? Wait, were you two? Her face turned bright red as realization dawned on her. Kushina smirked as she moved her mask to the side. He, so it seems my little student has found herself a man, I see. Wait, what? Naruto's eyes widened with shock, his face flushing red as well. Kushina's smirk widened as she teased them relentlessly. Ah, look at you two, blushing like tomatoes. Is this a date? Should we leave you two alone? No, it's not like that, Naruto stammered, his blush deepening. We were just training together, that's all. Yeah, Kushina-sensei. It's nothing like that, Satsuki added, her face still crimson. We were just practicing our techniques. Satsuki's face was so red, it would put Kushina's own shade of red to shame. Of course, Kushina was just finding this amusing. Kushina chuckled, clearly enjoying their embarrassment. Oh, sure, just training, right? So, no secret hand-holding or stolen kisses in between spars. Kushina-sensei, Satsuki exclaimed, mortified. It's not like that at all. We just met one another today. Naruto, fumbling with his words, tried to explain, we're just friends. There's nothing going on, Kushina continued, her eyes twinkling with mischief. Friends, huh, so, you mean to tell me that those long, lingering looks and that protective stance during your conversation mean nothing? Kushina-sensei, please, Satsuki groaned, wishing she could disappear on the spot. Kushina-sensei, we're serious. There's nothing romantic going on. Kushina pressed on. Oh, I get it. You two must be ninja partners with a special bond, right? Always looking out for each other, protecting each other, training together to get stronger. That's how all great romances start. Naruto, feeling desperate to change the subject, blurted out, "No, really. We're just training partners. Besides, Satsuki's too strong for me." Kushina raised an eyebrow. "Oh, so you admit she's strong and you admire her. Interesting." Naruto stammered. "And no, I mean, yes, she's strong, but not like that." Satsuki, equally desperate, added, "Kushina-sensei, you're really getting the wrong idea here." Kushina laughed, thoroughly enjoying herself. "Oh, come on, you two. Don't be so serious. I'm just having a little fun. But you do make a cute couple, you know." Itachi, growing increasingly annoyed by the teasing, simply responded with a series of "HN." He crossed his arms, looking away as if trying to distance himself from the situation. Kushina finally decided to relent, but not without a final tease. "Well, if you say so, but I'll be keeping an eye on you two lovebirds. Just in case." Both Naruto and Satsuki were at a loss for words, unable to stop the relentless teasing. Finally, Itachi decided to change the subject, addressing Naruto. "HN. How did you know we were there?" Naruto, glad for the distraction, quickly explained, "Oh, that's because I found out that I'm a sensor. I can sense chakra signatures and distinguish them. And, I can also sense people's emotions, whether they're negative or positive." Itachi's interest was piqued. "HN. Emotions too?" Naruto nodded. "Yeah, I could feel the presence of you two, and I sensed you were watching us. It's a handy ability." Kushina, still smirking, finally decided to cut the two a break. "Well, that's impressive, Naruto. A sensor ninja, huh? That explains a lot." Naruto and Satsuki, still red-faced, exchanged a relieved glance, thankful that the conversation had shifted away from their supposed romance. But Kushina wasn't quite done. She leaned in, whispering conspiratorially to Naruto, "Just so you know, Naruto, if you ever need tips on how to woo a kunoichi, you can always come to me. I've got plenty of experience." "Kushina-sensei," Satsuki exclaimed, utterly embarrassed. "Oh, don't worry, Satsuki," Kushina teased, "I'm sure Naruto's got it all figured out. Just between you and I, we know how weird you can be. It's going to take someone special to understand a girl like you." What? Kushina-sensei. I'm not that weird." Satsuki blurted out, not wanting to scare Naruto away. "Ohaho Satsuki. We all know you are. It would make things boring, especially for Naruto here." Kushina giggled, poking at Satsuki's shoulder, causing her to hide her face in embarrassment. Naruto, trying to salvage the situation, blurted out, It's okay to be weird, Satsuki, but I think it's cool. Makes you unique. Besides, I have an obsession with ramen, so it's weird too." Satsuki's blush deepened, and she couldn't help but smile. Itachi, noticing the moment, simply said, "HN." Kushina smirked, and also noted to keep Naruto's love for ramen for something the two to bond over. Kushina, seeing Satsuki's reaction, couldn't resist one last comment. "See, even Itachi thinks you two are cute together. Right, Weasel." Itachi sighed. "HN." Naruto continued to smile, happy to have made such a strong and special connection, while Satsuki tried her best to hide her embarrassment, knowing that this moment would stay with her for a long time. But it wasn't all too terrible, at least he made a friend through a rather unconventional way. Very soon after, Satsuki stated she had to hurry home to see her parents. To which Naruto understood and excused himself. Which left Kushina and Itachi by themselves. Now that was fun. "HN. Oh come on, you stick in the mud, You have to admit the two would be cute together. It'd also be one of the funniest things ever, Uchiha and Senju being rival clans, have two members end up falling in love. She's my Imouto, I'd rather have her focus on her shinobi career for now instead of boys. Oh you're just saying that because you're being overprotective. HN. Ah well, let's get back to patrol. Wouldn't be a terrible idea to let Hokage-sama know about Naruto's sensory abilities. Wait on that, after their genin test. Kushina and Itachi took back to the trees to continue their patrol. Oh, makes sense, but that does remind me of something. Kushina looked back in the direction they were just in. Naruto, he reminds me of someone, but I can't put my finger on it. Kushina thought about the different people she knew until it hit her. Wait. What is it? He kinda of looks like Minato. Itachi looked at his captain as if she was insane. That was over 12 years ago he passed away. Taiko. It was never said anywhere he had a kid, besides you two were the only ones close for a while. Also, do you really think Tsunade-sama would have gotten with Yodaime-sama? I can't really see that. Kushina sighed and rubbed the back of her head. You're probably right, maybe I'm just losing my mind. His blonde spiky hair and blue eyes eerily too similar to his. Maybe he came from the same village as he. Tsunade-sama did have a son, yes, but maybe that man was from the same village Minato was from. Itachi denied that. There was no way Tsunade and Minato would have a kid. However, it was more possible for Tsunade to have gotten with someone in the past 12 years who maybe was related to Minato. That was more possible than anything else. But for Kushina, ever since that idea came into her mind, it was something that was now irking her. Backquote. 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 Time skip 2 days later. Academy. After the 2 days of rest for the newly graduated academy students, Naruto decided to explore Konoha, doing his best to stay away from the persistent fangirls. As he wandered through the village, he greeted many different people who said hello and hi to him. He wasn't impolite, so he, of course, responded kindly. The only people who treated him like a normal person were Tsuki and Ayame, the two who worked at the Ichiraku Ramen. They were indeed shocked to learn who Naruto really was, but they didn't treat him any differently. It was nice not having every person he met kiss the ground he stood on. During his exploration, Naruto met with some of his fellow academy graduates. They invited him over to the Nara clan estate, where he had the opportunity to hang out and get to know them better. Backquote. 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 Nara clan estate. Naruto arrived at the Nara estate, greeted by Shikamaru, who lazily waved him over. Yo, Naruto. Glad you could make it. Thanks for inviting me, Shikamaru. This place is pretty cool. Naruto replied, looking around. Inside, Naruto found Shikamaru, Choji, Shino, Kiba, Ino, Sakura, and Satsuki already gathered. Sasuke had taken the day to train with Itachi, who had the day off. Naruto, over here, Choji called out, Akamaru barking excitedly at his side of Kiba. Shikamaru started, so, Naruto, what have you been up to these past few days? Naruto shrugged. Just exploring the village, meeting people. It's nice to have some downtime, you know. Choji, munching on a bag of chips, added, yeah, downtime is great. But I bet you've been training hard too, right? Naruto grinned. You know it. Gotta keep getting stronger. Ino, with a mischievous glint in her eye, leaned in. So, Naruto, what's it like growing up with Tsunade-sama and this Nei-chan of yours? Naruto smiled warmly. It's been great. They've taught me a lot. I mastered the leaf chakra control exercise, tree walking, and water walking exercises pretty early on. Nei-chan is Shizune, She wanted me to see her like an aunt. But she liked the idea of big sister instead. She helped Ka-chan raise and look after me. Sakura's eyes widened. Tree walking and water walking. Already. That's impressive. Satsuki, intrigued, leaned closer. What else have they taught you, Naruto? Naruto chuckled. Well, one time, Ka-chan took me to a casino when I was just a kid. She let me play a game of slots, and I actually won. Then she decided to bet even more on a game of poker. She had to leave to talk to Shizune for a bit, and I ended up winning a round of poker by going all in with the other gentlemen. I won with a royal flush, straight. Everyone burst into laughter, picturing a young Naruto in a casino, winning at poker. Shikamaru smirked. Troublesome. You're lucky, Naruto. Kiba, with a hint of challenge in his voice, said, yeah, well, luck won't help you in a real fight. Naruto shot back with a grin, maybe not, but being able to dodge quickly does. Ka-chan trained me in dodge training since I was little. You'd be surprised how fast I can move. Kiba rolled his eyes, we'll see about that. Satsuki, ignoring Kiba's jab, asked, what about healing? With Tsunade-sama being the best medic nin, you must know a lot about that too, right? Naruto nodded enthusiastically. Yeah, she taught me a lot about different plants and herbs that can be used for healing. I can identify quite a few now and use them in basic medical situations. As to be able to heal, I'm able to perform basic healing to fix fracture bones. Shino, adjusting his sunglasses, added, that's a useful skill. Knowledge of plants can be critical in survival situations. Naruto smiled. Yeah, it can definitely come handy. Ino, impressed, said, sounds like you've had quite an education outside the academy. Naruto shrugged. I guess so. But it's all thanks to Ka-chan and Nei-chan. They've been amazing teachers. Hinata, who had been quietly listening, spoke up softly, and Naruto-kun, it sounds like you've had some amazing experiences. You're very lucky. Naruto gave her a warm smile. Yeah, I am. And I'm grateful for everything they've taught me. Shikamaru leaned back. So, what's it like being trained by the legendary Tsunade and skipping the academy? Naruto scratched his head. It's definitely different. I missed out on a lot of the usual stuff, but I got to learn things in a more hands-on way. Plus, Ka-chan's way of teaching is pretty unique. Choji offered Naruto some chips. Here, have some. You've earned a break from all that craziness. Naruto took a chip and munched on it. Thanks, Choji. You guys aren't as bad as I thought you guys would have been. Shikamaru, sensing the light atmosphere, decided to stir the pot. So, Naruto, how do you feel being the center of attention all the time? Naruto scratched his head. It's kinda weird, honestly. I just want to be seen as me, not some big deal. Ino grinned. Well, it's hard for some people. A lot of people see senju on your forehead, but not everyone does. Though, I'll admit, you're certainly not bad to look at either. Naruto laughed with a slight blush on his face. Thanks, Ino. That means a lot. Kiba leaned in with a smirk. Seems being part of the strongest clan doesn't save you from the horde of fangirls, does it? No, it doesn't not. Naruto replied as Akamaru barked in agreement, making everyone laugh, but I think I can handle them. After all, there's clearly something they're interested in when it comes to me. Unlike you. Kiba felt a burn on that one as Sakura jabbed him in his sides, basically telling him to knock it off. Choji, trying to lighten the mood further, added, I've been learning more about the expansion jutsu from my dad. It's pretty awesome to see what our clan techniques can do. Shino spoke up, I've been refining my use of insects. Strategy is key. Naruto looked at Satsuki. What about you, Satsuki?